just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar. What a weekend of footy. We had an absolute classic game in regards to the Roosters, and then we had a classic poo slinger yesterday. Arguably one of the worst games of rugby I've ever watched, but...
That was on Saturday.
Oh, it was on Saturday, was it?
Yeah, Broncos.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't... You sure it wasn't the Tigers Eels?
No.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. We'll get to it, that's for sure. Yeah. Guys, don't forget, later in the show, NordVPN Defense Player of the Week will be there, but let's just get straight into it. All thanks to Face Sportsbet. It's Face the Music. It gives us a follow on the feed. Got some really fun stuff coming up for finals, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And always a massive thank you to Sportsbet for partnering with the show.
Yes, just a quick one to kick us off. Speaking of bets, I'm kicking off as of today. Just started today, 75 hard for the West Tigers.
Oh, okay, wow.
Excuse me if I need a few extra toilet breaks. I've already had 1.6 litres of water of my 3.8 today, so off to a flyer. But if I stick, well, when I stick to it, I'm pretty sure my first beer I'll be able to have will be the World Cup opener, Australia versus New Zealand, Thursday the 15th of October.
So lock it in.
So stick with me, people. But
That's a long time.
just paying my due. I thought I'd get in early. Don't have to wait just to impact summer and spring too much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You'll be looking good.
get the summer bod ready.
Yeah. Shredding for stereo.
Yeah, shredding for stereo, baby. Bring it on. All right, so let's get into Face the Music for round number 22. First game of the round, Cowboys 12, defeated by the Chooks 82. Wow, how embarrassing. What a rabble of a club. To concede 82. I don't know how you run a club like that. I really don't know how you do it. Kempy and Tommy Bomb, you both backed the Chookies. Well played. Kempy had a -5.5. Tommy, easiest 13 plus of the season. Well played to you,
Maybe ever.
$2.75. Matty and Guru, just missed it. Had the Cowboys 13 plus. Just missed it. Unlucky. Into Friday. Dragons, 22, defeated by Dolphins, 28. A little bit closer than I thought it was going to be. Matty and Tommy, you had the Dragons plus 12.5. Rue, you had the Dolphins 1-12 for $3.25.
Lovely.
What do I have?
Very good.
You had Dolphins -12.5.
Damn.
Yeah.
God damn it. That sucks.
Same as me. Unlucky. Storm, 22, defeated by the Dogs, 36. Fill up for everyone here. A lot of points for everybody. Rue had the Dogs head to head. Me and Matty had them -2.5. Campy and Tommy had them 13 plus for $3.40.
That's handsome.
Huge.
Good stuff.
Stop copying my bets, please.
Oh, I actually said it first. So.
The best place to copy Campy's bets is from the feed.
Yes,
So
if
give
you
a
want to do
follow.
it, only copying is on the feed, please.
Yep.
Not in the show.
That's the best way to do it. All right, then we go into the Titans, 6, defeated by the Warriors, 42. Kempy had the Warriors 13 plus for $3.
It's coming business time of the season, so I'm starting to really feel it.
Yeah.
You'd want to start really feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm a business end operator.
All right, well.
Because it doesn't matter. You always make the finals in the way it's all set up. So when I make the finals and I've got my eye in, fucking look out.
Yeah, okay.
And I get 2 shots at it like Hammy did last year and he still lost.
Because I won the eliminator, so earned the extra right. All right, Penrith versus the Raiders. Panthers 42, defeat the Raiders 18. Tough game, this one. A lot of support for the Raiders on the panel. Rue was the only one who took the Panthers. You got a bit too cute with it. You had them 1-12. So no points
Idiot.
for anybody in that game. The next game, biggest poo slinger of the round. Broncos 6, defeated by Knights 30. Glad I didn't fly up to Brisbane for that one. Tommy and myself got into our work on this one. We both took the Knights head-to-head. Easy when you think about it, $2.55. Thanks for coming. Then the Sharkies versus the Rabbitohs. Sharkies, absolute fill up for them. 36-22, I think it was in the end. I had the Sharks -8.5. Rue and Tommy, you had them 13 plus for $2.20. And then the Tigers, 13, defeated by the Eels, 16. No points for anyone in this one. Kempy actually had the Tigers 13 plus.
Didn't realise how bad you were.
Doing it for the content.
Couldn't even beat a Eels side that was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I
Well, you're
think
the
you're the only side that the Eels could have beaten on that
one
day.
who did them. What about the Broncos? They were pretty
Yeah, I was
bad.
overestimating it. I just said I was overestimating it.
Yes, you certainly were. All right, round 22 results. Tommy, here we go. Bit of moving and shaking, bit of closing the gap. $12.80 for him this week.
Huge.
Kempy, $8.30.
Oh, big.
Rue, $7.14. Myself, $6.35. And Matty, $3.80. So overall, Guru, $162.29. Myself, $157.03. Matty, $149.58. Denon, $110.23.
Ooh,
And Timmy
right.
/ Tommy with an 8-week rest, $87.50. 73.
Now, speaking of Hammy's punishment, you might remember mine was if the Dolphins don't make the 8, I have to go for the red mohawk for the final series. And you might have mentioned, you might remember I mentioned that the day before the grand final, I've got a wedding that day.
Yes.
And I was like, anyway. Thankfully, the Dolphins are okay because I got asked to be MC of that wedding.
Oh, my God.
So hopefully the Dolphins can just win another 1 or 2 games, lock themselves in because that'll be a tough carry. So
Okay.
That'll be good stuff, though.
It'd be great stuff.
Content-wise.
It would
It'd be great stuff. And I think we've agreed that I've got to, starting for the last 4 weeks around, rock up in Cowboys kit, and I'll most likely go to sit in the Bulldogs section. So I have to contact the Bulldogs for the last game as well and sit in the middle of them in the Broncos jersey.
Go Dogs.
Wow, your hate knows no bounds.
You know, actually,
do we reach out to the Bulldogs or do we just reach out to some Bulldogs fans and get them to organise it for us?
If you want.
Hectic
You want?
Fred.
Maybe like a Hectic Fred could sort it for us.
Yeah, okay. Hectic Fred, reach out, mate. We'll set us up. I want to be in the depths though. Get me in the depths of it.
Well, that's where you want to be with Fred.
Yeah. Get me in the depths in the middle of the crew. I want to be in the diehard Bulldogs fan section. I'm going to wear a mouth guard, headgear,
Collar.
and MMA
Gerbo.
gloves.
Gerbo style headgear.
Jumbo style.
Just before we move, I was just quickly crunching the numbers here on the official NRL ladder. And I couldn't help but notice Tigers got the bye this week. We're actually 2 spots above the Broncos on the rugby league ladder.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm looking at it here right now, and the NRL ladder says we're above you still.
No, but we've got the bye, so
Yeah, but hey, I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
I don't make the rules. This is the official ladder right now, and the official business that runs the whole thing, and they've got the Broncos ahead of the Tigers.
It's actually it's pretty fucked up how far you actually have to scroll down to see both your shit sides.
Oh, come on.
unfortunately.
Says the
so
guy that
far
hasn't
down.
done fucking anything for 5 years with the best team in the comp on paper.
Look, all I'll say is
Absolute
you're
pretenders
lucky
that are
I
gonna
only
choke when
scored
they
out
get
the
a
back of
fine footy.
shape because I almost landed golden point as well.
Yeah,
Very
but you
close.
didn't. But you didn't.
So
Almost like the
I'm
Roosters. Like
0 from 6.
when Roosters go at the end of every season, they're, we almost made the second week of the finals.
Record-breaking win on Thursday night, so you
Current
have
premiers.
to wear nipple tassels to a Bulldogs game now. So that's all that matters.
business as usual regarding the nipple
So
tassel.
Casual Fridays.
if the Broncos lose to the Dolphins this week, they will be below the West Tigers, though, right?
Yes, they will. But we're still the premiers right now.
Scrape from premiers to scraping into the top 16.
What great content. I told you I was part of the content plans at the start of this year with Madge. Wouldn't it be great if we were worse than a team that can't even barely field a fucking side of players? That don't even want to play for you. But they're also your captain.
We're above you on that.
Okay, that's Face the Music.
By
Brought,
hand.
Face the Music brought to you by Sportsbet. Give us a follow on the feed. You have me follow on the feed.
Please do.
Make sure to follow Sportsbet on Instagram and Facey and all that good stuff. Got some fun stuff coming out very soon. Okay, it's time for the team of the week. Got some awesome feedback from the boys when I asked for some feedback last night. He was one.
Did
So
you put those Tigers players in? That
yeah. So someone said Makasini to centre when I asked for the team of the week, and someone said move Critter to centre. Thanks heaps. That helped me heaps.
Well, did you do it?
Pardon?
Did you do it?
No, I didn't do it.
Oh, I'm glad we gave
Why
that
would I
feedback.
move Critter to centre?
Well, he's played his whole career, won 3 comps there, I think.
We're doing the team of the week this week.
Captain's
They can only
captain.
move in the outside backs. They can't go from half to outside back. So thanks for the help, boys. Really do appreciate it. Anyway, we'll get into it. Team of the week at 1, Teddy. On the wings, Khan Pereira. 3, Herbie. Now, I'll go to you guys for this other centre position. I've got Toya or I've got Burton. Which one?
Toya.
Did you say Teddy at fullback?
Yeah, because he would have honestly had 6 tries if he stayed on the field. Well, who would you had? I mean, you had the opportunity to answer me last night, but now you want to do it on the show. So who would you
Yeah,
have?
okay.
Mate?
I thought KP had a really good game.
Yes, he was great.
He
was
played a
great.
full game too.
I was kind of going off the line that it actually almost helps Teddy that his stats were so hectic he only played half a game.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
I'm in Camp Teddy, obviously. Yeah.
Camp Teddy, okay. So Toya though, Toya and
Toya.
Burton.
Well,
Toya?
Yep.
Okay. On the wing, Marky Mark. 6, Crichton. 7, Sam Walker. Could have been Hines, could have been Cleary though. 8, Nat Butcher. 9, Egan from the Wars. AFB at 10, Kickow at 11, Fini Fuiaki at 12, Salmon at 13, Hines at 14, Francis Manu Leilua at 15, Nathan Cleary at 16, and Isaiah Yeo at 17. That's the team of the week. Let us know what we should change, what we've missed. Apologies if we've missed anyone that should have been in there, guys. All right, it's time for the Code Sports Story of the Week. All just sport, no BS, all sport on Code Sports. I'll have a new article coming out very soon. If for the entire year, if you want a discount subscription, go to codesports.com.au/bloke to get your discount for the entire year. Link is in the description. But Tyson, what's the story today, mate?
Yeah, look, we can officially now announce that Laurie Daly has stepped down as New South Wales head coach. And, the story broke last week, but obviously he's come out and said his say now and officially announced it. So now the Blues are on the hunt for a new coach for next year, obviously off the back of a winning series. And the amount of criticism which has come around the Blues this year throughout the first 2 games, it's a really important decision for Dave Trodden and the New South Wales Rugby League Board. There's 2 people that are in hot contention at the moment, and they're the two assistant coaches, Matt King and Boyd Cordner. My mail is that Matt King is going to get the nod, but both obviously good options. Boyd Cordner, former captain of the Blues side. Matt King has been assistant coach for a long time and seen as that next guy up for quite some time. So, yeah, huge news. I mean, we all kind of knew that Laurie was going, but I guess this throws the story forward a little bit because they don't...
Any truth to the rumours that they're going to take it from part-time to casual coaching this year? Any truth to that?
Mate, it's a lot of talk for someone who
Matt King's on a casual contract?
whose state lost the series. State lost the series and he's still gibbering.
I'm asking a question. I'm not saying it's a fact. I'm just saying I'm hearing whispers that the next coach will be on a casual contract.
Well, I believe he'll be appointed, whoever it is.
Split shifts.
I believe whoever it is will be appointed very soon. Maybe by the time this podcast is out, we'll have an announcement. But they're going to be starting now to make sure in 12 months' time they're ready to clean sweep Queensland.
I wonder whether the reason why Daly has taken so long to make it official was for them to be able to already have this next coach up in place. Because if it let's say after it, the couple of days after he comes out and says, "I'm done," then there's like 6 weeks of speculation, and it's just like as an organisation, the least amount of speculation that you can have, the better. And I wonder whether that's all kind of because the fact that they've already landed on assistant coach suggests to me that this has been on a full-time coach. No, not even a full-time. On a head coach suggests to me that they've been talking already,
I would assume they were talking before game 1. Really. Like Laurie Daly publicly sort of said that, essentially.
But it was a little bit weird that he took this long. Weird's a strong word, but like the fact that everyone knew that he was pretty much hanging him up as an Origin coach, I wonder whether Trodden in New South Wales said, "Listen, can you just hold off on that official announcement until we have something in the ready to go kind of thing?"
Well, there's potential of that. Like the interesting Laurie, obviously, he was saying, look, he didn't want to cloud the win and what the player's done to make it about himself, so he wanted to wait a fair bit of time and I guess suck the air out of the room a little bit. We've kind of known, like Rue just said, but the interesting thing about Matt King, if it is Matt King, he was very close to getting the job when they held their last round of interviews where Laurie eventually got the nod over him. So this, I believe, has been in the pipeline for quite some time. It didn't even have to be a decision to be made straight away because they've kind of known Matt King's been in the system for so long now that he's that next guy. It's probably a little bit overdue.
As a Blues fan, any concern? Like, do you reckon they sounded out Ivan Cleary? Like, obviously Madge looks like he'll stay at the Broncos, but any thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen them go down the Ivan Cleary path. That's sort of where I thought we were going, if I'm honest. But, obviously he's still head coach of the Penrith Panthers next year. I'm sure I would hope they've turned over every stone. But I don't know, it's hard with Matt King because I don't really know too much about Matt King, if I'm honest. Like,
as a coach.
I've never had anything, as a coach, yeah. But even, like, I've never met Matt King. He retired, 15, 20 odd years ago, whatever it might be. I straight away, when you talk about those two guys, like my natural reaction is go, Boyd Cordner, Origin legend. He was our captain. He was, but he obviously doesn't have the same coaching experience that Matt King has. So, yeah, I don't quite know what to expect. I don't know what sort of a coach Matt King's going to be. But what I do like is, despite us winning this series, it was a bit of a train wreck as a whole. And I think that comes down to that we had a coach that didn't have a lot of coaching experience over the last few years. So I like that Matt King has been in the Roosters system. He's been a part of the Blues for, I think Matty said before, he's been in the pathways as well. So, I mean, I think we're in a better spot now anyway.
I think it's a good thing that he's actually, because he's been assistant coach through multiple head coaches.
Yeah. So he was involved with Madge. I'm pretty sure he was involved with Freddie as well. I mean, Brandy was Freddie's right hand man, but I think Matt King.
But he was in the staff though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think that's a good sign. If multiple head coaches have come in and said, "You're my guy in this staffing."
Yeah, 100%.
That's a great sign because usually you get cleaned out.
Plus the work he's done with Trent Robinson as well over the last, the Roosters have been top 8 team. They've been one of the premiership heavyweights for so
Is he
long.
their defensive coach or their attacking coach? What's his role there?
I think it's defensive. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's defensive. But he's their Trent Robinson, and then it's Matt King.
Yep.
So he's that voice to the players. And speaking of people at the Roosters, they all have such high raps on him. And it's also believed that Matt King is potentially the next in line for that Roosters job when Trent Robinson goes. A lot of people have been saying for quite some time he's that next coach. So Trent Robinson, I believe, is off contract at the end of 28. We've heard rumors around Trent Robinson and his future and how long he's going to stay there. We could see Matt King transition from not just a Blues coach in the next couple of years, but also a full-time head coach.
I like hearing that as well. If the Roosters have got him touted as the next guy potentially.
Yeah, because they do not stuff around. You know? Yeah.
Don't fuck around. Yeah.
What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Obviously, those guys have been around the mark for a little while, and I think that's probably a good thing if you're a Blues fan. You're like, all right, bit of continuity, bit of consistency. It's good to know that there's a bit of a harmonious vibe in there. Barracking from a content perspective, there was a bit of chat about Joey Johns, doing it. Not necessarily from him, but from everyone else. Would have loved to have seen that. But, I guess why would he's got so
You know what's hilarious about that is like that was an off-the-cuff remark from Matty Johns going, if my brother does it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it just consumed the media cycle for
But then,
2
you know,
weeks.
Matty knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did.
Matty was laughing when he said it.
Yeah.
Then you've got Gus out there going, yeah, Joey should do it. Which, would have been good to see. But, those guys have both been around the system a while. They singing off the same hymn sheet and whatever. So it's probably good for a bit of consistency, continuity. But I do wonder, Boyd probably more so because he's been a Blues captain before, won a few series and stuff. But probably haven't got someone with as much aura as a Billy or, if they went down the Joey avenue. But, be interesting to see who they go with.
How close was Trent Barrett? Because that picked up a bit of steam. Was that just people that knew him in the media that were kind of putting his name forward? How close was he?
I think Trent Barrett was the Blues always had these guys, right? And I'm not gonna to come out and say that they had a long list of people they were considering. I think it was always going to be between Matt King and Boyd Cordner, unless in the 11th hour we get a Spencer thrown in the works. But at the moment, that's where they're leaning. I think Trent Barrett was an option, maybe to deflect a little bit from the Andrew Johns chat. I believe Andrew Johns was the first one that kind of came out and went, yeah, Trent Barrett.
Just keep tossing other names out to deflect off you as it comes through.
But a lot of people that I've spoken to, they all have high, like Trent Barrett as an NRL coach hasn't worked. We've seen it. It just hasn't worked. But they believe that Trent Barrett offers something a little bit different in the Origin arena. He can come in for that short period of time, get the boys up. He's been there, done it. But I don't think he was at the moment, a realistic option to replace.
Was there any conversation with Ivan from what you've gathered?
I believe from Ivan's perspective, it's about finishing strong with Penrith. I don't think he wants to take anything away from what Penrith can do next year before he starts looking into that.
I guess he's got plenty of time too.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
He'll walk into that job when he wants it, essentially.
Yeah. Do you think it also potentially maybe put Ivan at ease what Nath did in the last game there and winning that series? And
less desperate to kind of get in there whilst Nathan is definitely here.
Yeah.
I still think Ivan definitely wants to go down that because the thing about the Clearys, and this is both of them, is they love a challenge and they love to, they don't want to take the easy route. So when Ivan finishes, which will be at the end of next year, the natural progression is for him to transition to a representative coach while still having something to do with the Panthers, probably in like a higher kind of role. But yeah, I just think for next year it wasn't a realistic option because Ivan's not one to put half of his eggs in one basket, half in the other. I dare say next year, and this is probably a scary proposition for every other team in the NRL, the Panthers are going to be very hungry to send Ivan Cleary off on a high note, and he's going to want that as well.
Dearden. What's going on with Dearden quickly before we wrap up?
So there's going to be a press conference today. Pretty much, we believe that Tom Dearden will come out and affirm his loyalty to the Cowboys and stay there long term. But a lot of chatter in the last 6 months around his partner from Sydney, potentially not wanting to move up there. She's posting things on Instagram which are being taken in different ways. So yeah, it's confusing for sure. And I don't think the announcement today is going to put everything to bed because things change, decision changes. But from Tom Dearden's perspective, I believe he will be at the Cowboys for the remainder of
That's good for them. I don't want to see a guy like Dearden leave the Cowboys. Like, he is the heart and soul of that team. Look, funnily enough, like, I'd heard those rumors or whatever a long, long time ago. So, like, it's not like they're just made up. Like, they have come from somewhere. And look, it's understandable. As a young man, you get in a relationship. If your partner's not happy, it can be tough as anything. So, but I'm stoked that he's going to stay. I think that he is a Cowboy through and through.
They can't win a comp without him. That's he's their guy. Like
you'd have to, you'd think so. But in saying that, they've done pretty freaking well. I mean, I know they were terrible on the weekend, but they've done pretty well without him at the moment. But yeah, I would say they can't win a comp without a guy like Dearden for sure.
Yeah, I mean, on the other side of the coin, I'd love to see a Dearden in sky blue one day.
Oh my god.
Have that child down here, then go up to Queensland, play your thing, do what you need to do. Come down and play for the mascot Jets in 5 years' time.
Oh, spare me, mate. Spare me. But yeah, great news. Great news. All right, go to codesports.com.au/bloke. Get your discount for the year. And there's plenty more stories, including probably some breaking stories around the Blues that will be up today. Thanks for joining us, Tyson. Appreciate it, mate.
Thanks, boys.
The round 22 review. It is the Roosters defeating the Cowboys 82-12. 82-12. Look, I know I've had a running battle with Roosters fans for most of the year, but I guess from my perspective, like this is kind of what I've been, not this hectic, obviously, but when I've been saying like they've got more in them, I need to see more. They've been scraping by on these wins that they haven't really played well and they've looked clunky. It's because like there's a certain type of Roosters footy that I believe that this team is capable of. We've seen glimpses of it against, I think it was the Raiders early in the year, the first half of the Broncos early in the year. This was Roosters footy, power and short passing. They were so dominant through the middle. I think their first 4 or 5 tries were in the middle third. You had an offload from Radley. You had a inside ball from Sam Walker to Teddy, back to Sam Walker. You had a short ball to Feketi. This is the Roosters' way. They were absolutely phenomenal. For me, I've got them as absolutely a premiership threat, locked in. This confidence can carry over into finals, even if they do stutter a little bit on the way. They've essentially locked in a top 4 finish. They are a dangerous, dangerous side. What a performance.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of a few weeks ago when the Sharkies put a big score on the Dolphins and we sort of, we came in here and we were like, I think a lot of people sort of went, oh, we know what the Sharkies are capable of. I think people sort of went, oh, Roosters, they've got this team on paper, they can do this. But I think this is well out of the realms of that once again. Like, you got to remember this game, it was 6-all after 10 minutes. So they essentially won the last 70 minutes, 76-6. And James Tedesco, the third greatest fullback of all time, maybe second, some would argue first, sitting to my right, only played half a game.
Yeah.
Like, it's out of this world. Are they going to do it every week? Fuck knows with the Roosters. But this performance was incredible. And once again, Cowboys are a top 8 side in North Queensland.
Yeah.
Wild.
And I know people go, oh, it's just the Cowboys or whatever. They're a top 8 side. They're not like they kind of were hanging around the top 8 for most of the season. There were periods there where they were pushing for the top 4 potentially. This is a huge win. And I'm not sitting here saying Cowboys played well by any stretch. I think that, yes, did the Cowboys play poorly? But also, I just think the Roosters played unbelievably to the point where they broke them. They just broke them. I think it's an incredible performance. Yep, I get it. Short turnaround, all that stuff. There have been plenty of teams in the past with short turnarounds and played poorly and haven't even gone close to having 82 points put on them. It was a phenomenal performance. And think about the confidence this has for this Roosters playing group when they get into finals footy, knowing that we know the recipe now. It's not a theory for very long at the Roosters, not for very long, but for a few years now, this game has almost been a theory for Trent Robinson, this powerful forward pack, short passing around the ruck, and it's always been like the idealized version of what he wants to play. It's actually been put into practice now. The power of that with this playing group, that they know what to do to play like this now, it's unbelievable. What do you think, Tommy?
Yeah, I think to Rue's point, the Dragons have won 2 games all year. Like if they'd had 80 points put on them by anyone, you'd be like, holy fuck, that's a lot of points. I think the idea of being like, oh, it's the Cowboys, like bit of an irrelevant point, doesn't make a lot of sense. Like a lot of people actually have the Cowboys to win this game and upset the Roosters. So I thought, yeah, similar to what you said, like the brand of footy that we played against them, I think it blew them out of the water, just that short passing, front foot, jumping out from 9, just those big forwards, just getting that roll on, and then Teddy and Sammy sort of playing square through the middle as well. Like, I think that's how we're going to be any chance of beating Penrith. We go into the Bulldogs this week. Obviously, they're playing some decent footy at the moment. They need to. Like, they need to keep winning to make the 8. So I'm glad we got a game before we play the Panthers. I think it would have been a very hard game to jump into off the back of that win. I'm still a bit nervous about the Bulldogs game this week just because of how much we did blow the Cowboys out of the water. I think it's hard to back that up. But, yeah, very exciting.
Super exciting. What do you reckon of the Roosters, mate?
Yes, they'd been winning in the lead up to this game. They'd put quite a few in a row, but they'd been a little bit clunky. Hadn't quite gone bang yet. This was finally all the pieces kind of fell into place. Kind of showed us what they can do at their best. So, good for them to kind of see what it's like and work out how it feels when they're absolutely humming, because that's obviously what they put on the park the other day. But, yeah, a couple of tough games heading into finals, which I think is probably a good preparation for them. But, yeah, they've entrenched themselves pretty much definitely in the top 4, but, starting to look more and more likely they're going to get a crack at 2 home finals, which will make them tough to beat. But all the ingredients are there. It's just how often can they produce that? They're probably not going to hit that height every single week, but how often can they get up to their best? Because that's good enough footy to win the comp, I think.
Yep. Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see how they go against Penrith. I think it's going to be a real yardstick in a couple of weeks. I'm not, look, if they get towed up by Penrith, then I'm like, okay, it kind of negates that. But if they just get close to Penrith, like, I don't know, 20-12 or something like that, I think that this is such a big win that it's almost worth 3 good wins on the trot. I know a lot of people are going to try to discount it as like just one win. I can't express enough how historic this win is. Like, we haven't seen something like this in essentially 100 years. Like, this does not happen in the modern game. So I'm super eager to see how they go against the Panthers. You could argue they couldn't have a better prep in the sense that, like, they've got that incredible game out of their system now where they, like, know how to play. They know what suits their style of rugby league. But boys, I need to ask you, the Ashley Mazda Service of the Week goes to Sam Walker. We actually had a winner, Fino. He came to the game at Suncorp Stadium. We watched it together, and that was all thanks to Lukey from Ashley Mazda, LDC_01. They got all sales going all the time. We've got brand new cars at the moment, the Mazda 6E. It's the new electric car for Mazda. They've also got the brand new CX-5s. My wife has a CX-5. I absolutely love it. If you need a car, give Lukey a message, LDC_01, and a massive shout out to Fino and his partner that came to the game. Fino was a Dragons fan and his partner was a Broncos fan. It was a great night, so thanks for coming down. I hope they enjoyed it. Got to go into the locker room as well, thanks to Alex Glenn, which we appreciate. Sam Walker, boys. Right now, we have evidence of Sam Walker conducting a record margin. We have evidence of Sam Walker having 2 incredible games in Origin. We haven't seen him dominate an Origin series. However, he is getting to the point where he's played so well in these games that we've just witnessed that it'll almost be slightly irrelevant at the negotiation table in regards to if the Roosters are like, oh, we want to see how you go at finals footy. I don't think they have that luxury anymore, especially after a performance like this. What is Sam Walker worth, and can he be everything we thought he can be?
Yeah, I think right now his value is sky high, especially when you consider where the game's at and whatnot, with Perth coming in, PNG, all these other teams with all this cash to throw around. Like, as far as Origin goes into this game, 36 individual points from Sammy Walker. You couldn't have asked for much more.
Unbelievable.
If you're Sam Walker's management, you are licking your lips right now.
And I
slam
think,
dunk stuff.
Yeah, I think as well, to further your point, like, if you're his manager and they try and push back on the finals footy thing, you say, guys, it's clearly not him struggling in finals. Look what he can do in Origin when he's away from this team. And also look what he just did. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas before, there was this question, and I'd love to get your thoughts, Roo, of like, is it Sam Walker not being able to deliver in finals footy, or is it the Roosters not being able to deliver as a forward pack in finals footy? I think at the moment, if you're on the manager's side, you're sitting there going, Sam Walker can play in big games. That's not a question now with the amount he's played this year. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I to some extent, think the signing of DCE was a nod from the Roosters that I don't know if we do trust him in those big games. They went and got an experienced player when they had Hugo there. They didn't need to go and do that. They chose to go and do that. So I think it is a bit of a nod from the Roosters that maybe they're not sure of what they're going to get out of him come finals time. But based on what he did in Origin and whatnot, granted in a different system, under new conditions, all that sort of stuff, I think it is a bit of a mute argument for the Roosters at this point, realistically.
I don't think they've got the luxury of going to November 1, because if he goes November 1, stupid money's getting thrown about for him.
Like a dumb amount of money. Yeah. And you don't know how, like the Roosters on their way home could, they've got Canterbury this week, then Penrith. I don't know who they play for the rest of the season, but knowing the Panthers, if they have 1 or 2 of more of these days out, like it could just rise even more.
Yeah. Like, what do you reckon PNG are going to be throwing at him at November 1 if Cleary does re-sign with the Panthers? Tommy Bum, I'll get your thoughts on Sam Walker. What is he worth? As a Roosters fan, are you a little bit like, I still need to see him in finals footy, or do you feel like he's proven himself in big games? Thoughts?
Well, look, as like a Roosters fan and a Blues fan, I don't know if you'd be able to name another half who was dominated in an Origin series and lost like what he did in this year's series. Like I thought, like for him to come in, bit of a rogue pick at the start, was arguably their best player, definitely one of their best.
They win, he wins the Wally Lewis medal, I think.
Easily. And I think, and that's there's a lot of other good players from Queensland who put their hand up, so I think that speaks to how well he played. I think he's more valuable to the Roosters than anyone else. Like I think the Roosters have stuck with him for 6 years now, 5-6 years now in the NRL squad, and obviously he's had his injuries and stuff, but I think this is the first game we've seen where it's like all come to fruition as a side, obviously with him being the main conductor of it, like scored a hat-trick himself and you said 36 individual points. He's a very difficult guy to build a team around because of just how he sees the game and how he plays. You're starting to see like that potential. I think he's the most valuable to the Roosters as opposed to the Chiefs or whatever. So I think it's actually puts a bit of pressure on the Roosters. I think they need Sam more than Sam needs them. Like definitely at the moment.
Because you could argue from his management's perspective, he went into Origin and killed it. That's a different system.
Yep.
So he can go and kill it somewhere else. You could argue. I will say, I want to give the Roosters a fair bit of credit here because like I'm still not fully sold on DC on the field performances. Like I'm not sitting here saying DC arrived at the club and his performances have totally warranted what they did. Now, like I'm happy to say I'm satisfied with it because they're currently sitting second, but I haven't looked at his individual performances and said, wow, he's played really good. However, I want to give DC and the Roosters credit because you could argue it's no coincidence that Sam Walker is where he's at this year when DCE arrives. And DCE is actually, funnily enough, DCE actually plays more like Sam Walker than he does Cooper Cronk. And so I wonder whether off the field, DCE's been really good at mentoring him and bringing out the best version of him. So I want to give DCE a lot of credit there because I think that I had questions as to could he take a step back in this new side? And I'd say at the moment, yes, he has taken a step back.
As a whole, I think he has. Yeah.
I think he has taken a step back.
Especially compared to what he was doing at Manly. Without a doubt, he has.
Crazy. Yeah. Absolutely. So I just wanted to give the Roosters credit because that's what they signed him for. Again, I still think there's more in him on field. Like I haven't really watched a game this year and gone, fuck, he's really killed it. However, if the goal is to finish in the top 4 and go deep into the finals, it's almost irrelevant how DC plays on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like he probably wasn't brought to the club to be a gun on the field. He was just brought to the club to take him a step further. And at the moment, it's looking like they probably will go, whether they win or not, I'm not sure the comp, but they probably will go a step further. So I just want to give the Roosters credit that it does seem to be, it was rocky for a period there, or at least a bit unbalanced. It seems like it has paid off so far. I'm not fully, it's done. It seems like it's paid off.
If you are the Roosters, do you wait and see what happens the next 2 weeks?
No way. I get it done. I just get it done because like you don't. The closer he gets to November 1, the more the manager is like, just wait 2 weeks then. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, it's like he's got to wait I don't know, 8 weeks or some shit like that. Whereas like if they wait another 4 weeks, it makes that wait a little bit less time. If you know what I'm saying. Whereas
or
like
November
right,
1.
Yeah. Like there's more time. Like right now. For example, he could get injured. Like so many things can go wrong. So there is more incentive if a good deal is put in front of him to sign it. Whereas the closer he gets, the less time there is for something to go wrong for him, the more value he can have on the open market. I think they'll probably get a deal done before November 1.
Yeah, I think they have to. It's funny, Kemby, when you talk about DCE, like it's always a weird dynamic when you wrap someone for doing less than what they used to. But I think like that is the underrated aspect of DCE coming to the club this year is he's also to play second fiddle for the first time ever. And I think he has done a really good job of that without blowing the world away. Like we're comparing him as the main guy at Manly for 15 years pretty much to being a second fiddle to Sam Walker. I think the other thing with the Roosters that's been underrated over the last 5 years is when Keary got injured or Walker got injured and Teddy had become more on ball. I think one thing the Roosters have got right this year, and that's why they are sitting second despite the vibe still being, they've been a bit clunky until that performance on Thursday night, is that I would argue that the hierarchy in terms of the spine this year, it's Sam's team, then Teddy gets the ball, and DC is actually third in terms of the dynamic, which I think over the years when Teddy becomes number one, when there's been injuries or whatever, he then struggles to then find his place again because he still wants to play as that sort of main guy. But I think this is the best that their dynamic has
I think it's closest it's gotten to clearly Walker's team. I still think there's been times where Teddy will step forward and kind of get in front of Sam Walker a little bit, but I felt like it was the most you saw Teddy just working totally off Sammy Walker. What is Sam Walker worth, mate? And should he sign before November 1?
I reckon they should snap him up right away. And to the point of, if there's an argument that he hasn't been able to do it in finals, I think it's always because for the last few years, the Roosters, they've started very slow. They've gassed themselves trying to get into the finals. And then by the time they get there, the whole team's just buggered. So he hasn't had anything to play at the back of. So, yeah, he's definitely kind of shut everyone up with his performances in Origin, some big games this year, playing some great footy. He's worth, what do you reckon, like 1.5, whatever?
Well, probably with the new cap.
Exactly. So
probably 1.5.
I don't know about the 10-year deal thing.
No, I don't like 10-year deals.
I'm not a big fan of him, but he's probably got a pretty good... He's in a good position if you wanted to push for something like that. I don't know whether the Roosters would actually do it, but 1.5, I reckon, given what halves are getting paid and the fact there's a bit more money in the cap, I reckon that's probably near enough what he'll get.
Do we all agree that the only other halfback that is maybe achievable, I don't even know if he is, that would be an improvement is Nath?
In regards to PNG,
no,
for
the Roosters,
For the Roosters.
Like, I mean, who else is available? Who else is out there that you look at and you go, okay, they will definitely be better than Sam Walker? Like,
I think you could argue Izzy Katoa.
Okay, but he's not going to leave the Dolphins.
He's not leaving, obviously.
So he's not leaving. Nath's the only one that could go to November 1.
Yeah.
Whether he does or not, we'll wait and see. But I think that if Nath signs tomorrow with Penrith, Roosters sign Sam Walker on Wednesday, because who the fuck? What else are you going to do?
Yeah, you're literally opening yourself up to him getting offered 1.6, 1.7 from PNG.
PNG, yeah.
And you don't want that shit.
Well, trying to negotiate a 10-year deal with the Roosters also suggests that that's his ideal situation, staying with the Roosters, and he just wants security. So I think the Roosters would really have to fuck this deal process up for him to leave, I think. Because he's going to get dumb money thrown his way if it does go to November 1.
Because for people listening, it won't, for Sam Walker for PNG, he'll get offered 1.5, 1.6 tax-free, and then he'll probably get $2 or $3 million a year in endorsements. I can't, it's the money getting thrown over there.
Crazy.
Is insane. I just think the Roosters, they've had so many greats at the club. The 10-year thing, I feel like they're better than that as a club. And I know that sounds a bit weird, better than a 10-year deal. What does that mean? But usually 10-year deals are from clubs that aren't as glamorous and, as big as the Roosters. Roosters are one of the biggest clubs in the comp with all the resources. I think a good middle ground would be, I think in a perfect world, 3 years, but a 5-year deal initially starts probably 1.2, 1.3, and then when the salary goes up, 1.5.
Yeah, I don't think the Roosters do a 10-year deal.
I don't think they will. I think that they'll surely be, because I said this on the Morning Glory with Matty Johns, I feel like 10-year deals come from a place of fear on both ends. It comes from a player saying, if I get injured, if my form drops, I've got security. And from a club, it comes from a place of, we're scared there's going to be a period where you might want to leave, therefore we're getting you for 10 years and so you can't leave. I think as well with, so I don't think a 10-year deal. I think maybe a 4-year deal or with a 1-year mutual option maybe, I'm not sure, but 5-year, I'd say 5-year, first year 1.2, second year 1.3, and then third year 1.5. I think that's a good deal.
Could you see him structure a 10-year deal based on performance, where it's a guaranteed 3 or 4, and if you've made X many prelims or if something like that? I remember when Mitch Moses had a clause in his contract about a bonus for if they win a comp.
See, I just don't think. I just think the Roosters are a bigger club than that, where they can say it's an honour to be here too. We want you here, we love you, but you also need to want to be here. And this idea that it's 10 years or nothing is almost I get this sense of you're strong arming the club into that position just for your own security rather than what's best for the club right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that as a fan though, if it was the sort of thing where it was okay, you want 10, we'll give you 3 or 4. Normally we would only give you 3, we'll give you 4, but then
you'd have to give him 5 if it was clauses and that, I reckon.
Yeah, okay, well 5, and then based on performance, if you want 10, you keep doing what you're doing, it'll end up being 10, we're all happy. If you don't, then it gives us both options to opt out.
I think they're in a strong enough position to say, here's a 5-year deal, it's locked in, there's no options, you're good to go. But I get what you're saying, that kind of protects them in the sense that, if they're playing good footy, we're all happy, everyone's happy kind of thing.
I just think start of the year, 100% they were in that position, whereas now, I really do think, when you talk about how much cash is going to get thrown at him, the Roosters need him a lot more than he needs them now. I would have argued it was a lot more mutual earlier in the year, but to Rue's point, like outside of Nave Cleary, he's your guy.
Yeah. Like, and tell me how many halves have played as well as he has in Origin. It's fucking rare.
So
like it's rare as anything that a guy goes in and rips Origin like that.
Yep. I think the other thing as well, if he does sign this big long-term deal, you would assume Hugo Savala becomes his halves partner. Got another young half there, Toby Rodwell, who I know you're a big fan of as well, who I think he'll become a target for a number of teams out there.
And 10-year deals tend to, you lose the guy underneath immediately
100%
because it's just like, fuck, I can't get a go here. Okay, so we all agree sign before November 1.
Yeah, I think so.
And roughly, we'll just say on average 1.5 a year for the next 4 or 5 years, if the salary cap goes up.
Yes.
Okay, in regards to some other performances, I absolutely love Nat Butcher in the middle. I just think he is made for the middle. I understand that he can cover positions on the edge there and he's safe and Trent Robinson trusts him. Mate, him in the middle in today's game, he is unbelievable. Like, in a game like that, you'd expect Nafahu White to just blow the numbers out of the water. And granted, Nafahu White still killed it. But it was actually Nat Butcher that was phenomenal in my opinion. I think that he needs to stay in the middle. So much so that I actually wouldn't mind Collins and Spencer Lenu coming off the bench when they're full strength. I thought he was outstanding. And also I thought Keddy was great as well on the edge.
What about our little revelation the other day about Lindsay Collins?
Yeah. Wild.
Tell him, yeah.
Hasn't won a comp.
Lindsay Collins, wow.
Fucking weird, right?
Weird, eh?
It feels like he's been there forever.
Yeah.
He has, but it just lined
Didn't-
up.
didn't
that he was,
line up.
He was a
Wow.
fringy those years and then didn't play in the GF.
Okay, wow.
Isn't that wild? Like
You
I've
just
always
assume it because
thought-
he's
Just
an Origin
assume.
player and
Yeah.
I'd almost assume he's won 2, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
I think didn't he play Origin in 2020?
I think
that
so,
side.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think like it just sort of lined up that it was like, oh, you assume he won 2
Yeah,
comps. so-
wow. Okay. Fuck.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Nat Butcher was unreal. I thought, boys, one of the moments of this game, that try that Mark scored, and I know we say this every few weeks, that he has a new moment that all of a sudden you have to fucking rejig his top 10 moments. And this one wouldn't have been in the top 5, but man, there was fucking 5 Cowboys
Mental.
on screen.
Mental.
I've seen bad defensive efforts on wingers. They all put their body on the line, and Mark just
Carried him.
They never stood a chance.
That's fucking mental.
It's like I seen out of fucking Godzilla. Like, he just
I said,
rampant.
I said this on Morning Glory the other day as well. It was like when when like a father gets down on the ground with his kids. He goes, everyone just get on my back. He just pulls them around the floor. That's what it felt like.
Mr. Nwangani Tuasa, they call it.
Yeah. Unbelievable. But yeah, 3 or 4, it might have even been 5 blokes by then hanging off him as he scored one of those tries. Outstanding. 3 tries for the game again. Just to fill up. He's just killing it at the moment in such good form and at the right time of the year as well.
Thoughts on Butcher, the forward rotation? Are you as bullish on Butcher as me in the middle to start and you bring Collins Spencer off the bench? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like Butcher through the middle. I also like Butcher on an edge. I like Butcher as a footballer wherever like they need him. I mean, it'll be interesting again next year once Angus is gone. What they do, I wouldn't be shocked if Butcher ends up out there again.
Because I thought Fouquetti was great on the edge.
He's good. Yeah.
He's mobile enough. He's not huge huge forward. So what do you reckon, Tommy?
I think that Nat Butcher in the like modern game sits like his body shape sort of sits in that sweet spot where as a middle he gets through a ton of work and he's more on the fit side. As an edge, like especially earlier in the year when he was next to DCE, we saw him get burnt for speed a couple of times. So I think assuming Gus doesn't come back, but I know he's going to get close to coming back for the back end of the year anyway, I think Fouquetti is the guy on the edge just because he's that little bit quicker. And I think what Nat can bring through the middle, I think he allows Nafil White to just sort of lean more into his offloads and be more of that explosive style player, and Nat can get through more of the work with Radley.
And he can clean defense up too, like
That's what I
defensive
mean.
gun. This is 21 runs, 217 meters, 72 post contact, 1 tackle break, 23 tackles, 0 misses.
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
you can obviously play him on an edge. You can play Radley on an edge. They've done it before. They do a good job there. And I think Radley's similar to what you're saying, Rue, about Nat. Like, he's a footballer and he'll do a good job anyway.
I will
But
say with Radley though, because he's had an opportunity to play uninterrupted footy, not getting suspended, not injured or whatever, we're actually starting to see him get back to that 13 form that put him on the map
for
quite a
sure.
while ago.
And I think, like, between those two in the middle, when you're then dropping guys like Spencer Leniu and Nafil White in the other side, and granted, like, Nafil White actually gets through a lot of work. Like, it's not like he's some big unit that can only give you 15 minutes at a time. But I just think it maximises what he can give you and maximises what Spencer can give you. So, yeah, I'd be keeping Nat in the middle and Fouquetti on the edge.
Okay, on to the Cowboys before we move on. On honestly, like just a devastating day for the club. Now, a few Cowboys fans were a bit upset at me on Friday because what I said is that I still have them making the 8. They still win some games heading into finals footy. However, I just think this scarring when they get to week 1 of the finals, I just don't see them winning that first game. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just think something like this, it's got to be lingering in the back of your head week 1 of the finals. It's so dramatic. 82 points. Just devastating that such a good season has this scar on it.
I tend to agree with you. But I'll tell you what, if there's any team in this competition that at times can have the memory of a goldfish,
it is the Cowboys.
It's the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Like I would assume the same thing. You get 82 put on you, it's Red Rover. You're never going to recover from that. But this team, like I remember sitting there round 2 or round 3 and like, mate, we were already working out who was going to coach them.
Peyton was gone. He was
gone.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks ago, it's like that never happened. Like that's a crazy thought to sack Todd Payton. All of a sudden, they can see the 3rd most points in a game ever
at home.
Unbelievable feat at home.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
after such a good 2 weeks, versus Manly and the Broncos. Look, I'm happy to be wrong. Absolutely happy. And as I said, I think they'll win some games heading into finals footy. But I'd argue even the Dolphins are still recovering from that 66-0 smashing. I just wonder whether you get into finals footy, you're up against the Dolphins who finished 5th. I just wonder it's lingering in the back of your head going, fuck, like if they get a roll on, it could be disaster again. Yeah. We'll see though. We'll see. What do you reckon, Tommy?
I think it's like if there was ever a year for it to happen, I think this is the year. Like you just pointed out the Dolphins, and I know on the weekend, and we'll get to them, but they had it done on them a few weeks ago. I still think they've got it in them. Izzy Katoa coming back in towards the back end of the year. I still think on their day, like I'd be nervous with the Roosters playing them, and obviously the Roosters just did this to the Cows. Like I think the comp's quite even this year, so I think you can sort of fight your way back in potentially. And I do think they've still got Didden to come back. It can't get any worse. Like I think if you wanted the most extreme wake up call of all time, this is it. And I guess to Rue's point, like earlier in the year, different kind of pressure, but they did sort of have a dress rehearsal for this. Like I think even some of the players internally would have been expecting they'd have a new coach the week after they came out and beat the Storm. Like,
look, I hope I'm wrong, but like this is uncharted territory.
I think. What I would argue, I guess, is what gives you more confidence about, and I know you just said the Dolphins are recovering still. What gives you more confidence about them as opposed to just the Cows?
Well, the Dolphins were a premiership threat before and also can still make the 8. The Cowboys were playing above themselves for so long to a degree. And so I just don't have the Cowboys on the Dolphins level at the moment. And look, I do think that in regards to like the Dolphins being premiership threats, like, yes, that took a hit for me in the 60s. I'm not sitting here saying it didn't.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys, like, this is a record margin at home, like, that we've never seen before, like in our lifetimes. I just think it'll hurt them. I think it's going to be something that if they don't pick up immediately and kind of roll on from this point, it's heading into it's 4 or 5 weeks away from finals. I just wonder whether they get into that first week and they struggle. Yeah.
What was the biggest drumming that you had in your career? Like it would have been the Warriors, right?
Yeah, not maybe 30 or 40, like as in 40 to 20 or 40 to 18 maybe. I can't remember, but nothing, not even close to this.
Realm.
Like this is like I've never seen anything like obviously I've never seen anything like it.
I think the good thing for the Cowboys is, I mean, not that there's many positives, but they play on Thursday night now. They don't have time to fucking dwell on it. They just got to get on with the job.
Yep.
They play the Titans. I think that's a must-win game for them. I think the Titans will be very excited to get back at home after last week. Yeah.
They've got a good run home. As I said, I do think they'll win games. Yes, they've got a relatively good run home. I do think they'll win games leading in, and I said I do think they'll make the 8 still. I'm just like, that finals footy, oh man, yeah.
It is a great few weeks. They play Titans, Parramatta, bye, Tigers, then the Raiders. Yeah.
And look, I
It's
just
going to be the hardest game of the rest of their season.
They're still sitting 8th, I think 8th currently right now. At least that they were on the live letter. So it's not too extreme to say that the 8th team will struggle in the first week of finals footy. They're sitting 8th.
Well, yeah, they're 9th on for and against because they got fed like they would have been.
Their for and against got fucking. They dropped down to like the 3rd worst in the comp.
Yeah,
after
they're
that.
minus 98, and like to get anywhere near it, you have to sort of go down to the Eels who are 13th. Like,
put it this way, I think it'll be a good thing if they make the 8. Like, I think that's a good recovery, good enough recovery for me.
Yeah.
If they win week 1 of the finals, that's amazing. That is truly amazing.
Well, the other thing that's going to make it tough as well is when you get beat by 70 points. Like your for and against takes a huge hit. They're now at minus 98.
Yeah, it's
like
huge.
Canterbury's at minus 44.
Yeah. So if they make the 8, I'm happy with that. I just think that, like really, really. Look, I've always been a big defender of after a game when players, shake hands and they stand around talking to their mates from other teams or whatever. I felt, and I'm always defender. This one though, I was like, boys, you just got to get off the field. You shake your hands and you just get off the field.
Get out of there.
It just doesn't. When the fans, it just doesn't. It's not a good look in this dramatic of a situation that you're sitting there just having a yarn, taking photo. Like,
are you talking about that photo of Ethan King and Sam Walker? Is it that one?
Not. I didn't see it, but just in general, just get off. Just get off. Just get off.
They had a nice photo together because obviously Ethan was at the Roosters beforehand. And I actually thought about that. Then I was like, a few people won't love that.
So just sometimes when it's this extreme, you just shake your hands and just get off the field because of the perception, even though it may not be true. Like, of course, all those boys are going to be devastated and they're going to be at home. They're going to be struggling mentally. I get all that. They will be. But just the chance of the perception that it didn't hurt as much as you would hope.
Well, it's not the chance. You know how it's going to be taken.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Like if you're a fan sitting there that can barely make ends meet and you've paid for your ticket and it looks like they're just talking to their mate having a laugh, you're going to be like, it's going to sting a bit.
Especially like there's a couple of and all clubs have these fans, but like Canberra Cowboys have fans that travel hours to get to those games.
It's not the end of the world or anything, but it's just a little thing. Okay, on to the next game, boys. But look, I will say, I would love, as a Queenslander, I would love nothing more for them to be this. This is a historic wake-up call, and they turn it around and they rip. They absolutely rip. Okay, on to the next game. The Dolphins defeat the Dragons 28-22. Let's get straight to the, I guess, controversial call or whatever. I got to say, I don't think it's a controversial call. I'm sorry. I know that I'm in the minority. I've seen on the internet a lot of people losing their minds about the Katoa knock-on. If you actually, in my opinion, when you watch it, if you just watch it with a clear mind and watch where he hits it and where it lands, it goes back by like a meter or two. Now, I know back 5 or 6 years ago, we would probably just give that a knock-on because of that was kind of the vibe that we used to do. In the modern day of rugby league, they actually look at, did it technically go forward or back? I actually didn't think that was the wrong call.
I think that's the problem. I think a couple of years ago, we got stuck in, as you just said, a vibe of if the ball hits the ground, it's a knock-on. And everything was a knock-on. There was it didn't matter which way you were facing, all that sort of stuff. This is the whole consistency thing we always come back to. And you sort of, I don't know, we get these weird sort of trends in the game that are...
Well, now to your point in regards to trends, it used to be, let's say I get in a tackle and I hit it, someone tackles me there and it goes back, that was automatically knock on.
Yep.
Like straight away, the ref would be like knock on. Nowadays, if it goes directly back straight away, that's not considered a knock on anymore.
There's also plays in the game nowadays where if a ball's rolling and it goes between a player's legs and backwards, they pick it up and they keep going. That was a knock on every day of the week a few years ago. So I think that's what makes it hard. I would like to shout out as well the referee in this game, Kieran Irons. I actually taught with him about 8 years ago. Can you believe that?
I actually thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
I know people aren't going to like that because of the call that they disagree with, but I think it was a video ref, that didn't pick it up. If you don't agree with it, I did agree with it. For a debut ref, I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, teachers just taking over rugby league, mate. We're in charge.
Tommy, what do you think, mate? Did you think it was a knock-on? Thoughts?
I was in the same camp as you, to be honest. I think that we got stuck in this weird drop ball rules era, like touch football rules for a while there, where any ball that hit the deck was considered a knock-on. I think the one thing that really annoys me every time, not to open a can of worms again, but if we can watch that and acknowledge that it went backwards, part of me's like, why the fuck couldn't we review forward passes for tries then? You know what I mean? If you can rule on that, if you can tell that it hit his hand and it went backwards, which I agree with, why couldn't you do that for a pass?
Well, I don't think it's as simple because you can throw a pass back out of the hands and it can float forward, and you'll have people swear in black and blue that look how far it went forward, and then you try to explain to them, well, the way physics works is if your momentum's there, it's going to go that way. I don't think it's as simple as the knock on.
I just reckon that you could if you can pick the point that it starts and the direction that it travels. I think we should be able to do that.
But that's the thing though. In a pass, if I'm sprinting and I throw it back, physics it can end up in front of me. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if
I'm
yeah, exactly. So it's good old fashioned. So if I'm on the 20-meter line and I throw it back out of the hands, but I'm running at 20 k's an hour, it will float forward and land ahead of where I passed it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I still think you could like draw lines and shit. Like I think there's been, and to the consistency point before,
As in draw lines to where his hands are directed.
like where it leaves. Yeah, if it does it go backwards? Like I think we could easily do that. I think you don't have to do it on every play, but on tries they should be able to check it. Because I think we'd see.
I think it'll slow the game down too much, man.
fuck.
I know what we've got right now isn't perfect, but I don't think what you're suggesting is going to be perfect too. But the game is going to take an eternity. It already does. Like we check every single try. After every single try, you have players standing around the middle of the field for 2 or 3 minutes while it's all being watched. So
I don't trust us to the best thing in that situation for what you're asking for would be a chip in the ball. That's the only way I would even consider.
However you want to do it, I just think like if we're going to waste enough time on that, like, I would have been happy in the moment. Ref calls it how it is, goes backwards, sweet. If they then check it, like, there's been other ones that they've checked this year where like I remember a Cossey one earlier in the year. It was like essentially the same, but the other way, got called the other way. It's like, well,
Fuck, oh, man, I reckon you just open. I actually think it negates a lot of chat. The fact that we just say we can't roll on forward passes because the chat about forward passes would go crazy. I see what you're saying for sure.
I like that forward passes are called by referees on the field. That's
fly.
how I and it's not perfect, 100%. But I think you do it another way, it's going to be an absolute shit fight because you're going to end up having tries where you're gonna get to the point where they're drawing lines on every single pass that is a line ball, realistically.
yeah.
The only way I could consider it is if there was a chip in the ball, and that could immediately say that was forward straight away. That's like if there's any us sitting here going, okay, here's the line. Okay, that's cleared. That's clear. Like because you're right. What if there was 2 flat passes one after the other? You'd be fucking sitting there.
And the other thing as well, if they've got the technology to put the line in there, like. Let's be honest. You know what's going to happen on Fox and 9 and whatnot. They're going to go through every single play and draw a line, everything, and point out every single time. And it's just to create controversy. It is going to be a shit fight in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it just frustrates me watching they like rule on that one, but then you could probably go back 4 weeks ago find an identical one.
There's one this week where there was an offload from a Storm player, Cooper Clark, I think, that was clearly forward. And they were like trying to look for reasons as a knock on. They couldn't find it. And that's when Bailey Hayward got sent 10 in the bin with the kick.
Yeah.
The pass before that was forward, but they couldn't rule on it. But I definitely see what you're saying. I just reckon it would slow things up massively.
But look, outside of that can of worms when it comes to ruling on the knock-ons and stuff like
You
that.
did warn us that you're opening a can of worms.
I did, which I think is important.
Worm alert.
Yeah.
I do like that we're back in a space though with the knock-ons where common sense is applied. Where if the ball goes backwards, then we let people play. Because I think someone like a Jaden Campbell or a Hammer, any of these exciting guys, that's where they look at their best broken play off the back of a loose pass or a knockback or something.
Okay, let's get into the game. Look, I thought once again Dragons were gutsy. I thought the Dolphins were scrappy as. Like it wasn't the most convincing win, but it was a win. My biggest takeaway though was the Dragons. Like, I hate to be hypercritical, but I feel like sometimes their senior players let down the younger players, and I know that's a bit harsh, but I watch these young forwards and they usually are in the contest, or at least sometimes they're dominating the contest, and then one of their senior players will make us throw a silly pass, or like for example, even that situation, like Holmes shouldn't have thrown the pass for Katoa to knock that down. He knew Katoa was there, and that's coming off Holmes early in the game, where you could argue it was back out of his hands, but he also shouldn't have thrown that massive pass when he made the intercept. It was first tackle. And it's not just Holmes either. Like there are other players as well where I just think as senior players, like sometimes I feel like the younger players deserve better at times. They just need to be a little bit better.
I could be wrong, but I think it was Semrani in the Parramatta game. He took an intercept as well. He sort of made a break and got tackled on first and didn't go for anything yet. Just play the ball and just like it's the best thing for the team. And in that moment where Val threw that pass, I was just like, what the fuck are we doing?
Then like there was a time like Kerr came on, he gave away a penalty for head high, and then I think Gula gave away another penalty. Now I'm not sitting here saying that the young fellas are perfect by any stretch. I just think that errors by senior players, they should be the least amount of errors from senior players. Because I think it was 10-all when they did their bench rotation. Because on the flip side, Kurt Donahue came on. He essentially had a line break in his first fucking 2 or 3 touches on the field. And so with the Dragons bench, I feel like they could give a bit more to this side at the moment. I know it's harsh, but that's my feelings.
I don't think it's that harsh, to be honest. I think like it's been going on for ages now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's my feelings on it. I just think they need to be the standard for the young fellas rather than the vice versa. In regards to some of the performances, that play, and it was a great play from Kerr as well, but Hamish Stewart, the outball to Kerr to make the line break, and then Couchman scoring. Like, that's, if you're a Dragons fan, I know the losses are hard to stomach, but to know that you have two young forwards that are either scoring the try or throwing the outball, like, there aren't many teams in the comp right now whose young forwards are doing that. Literally. You could argue there's no team in the comp who young forwards are doing that. That's something to be super excited about with the Dragons.
Yeah, obviously we all know about this young pack. I had a look through, I think Code Sports had an article about 2 weeks ago, the top 50 players under the age of 23. And they had like 6 dudes in there, their forward pack. They're just in such a good spot. I'm also really glad to see Halangahu's starting to actually get some minutes there as well.
They were saying it a different way. Are we saying it wrong?
I might be wrong by all means, but that's how I've always been told.
Could you please let someone, Halangahu is Samoan or Tongan?
I'm not.
Whatever his heritage is, could someone in the comment section please tell us the correct way to say it? Because they were saying like like they were saying it very differently to the way we say it.
And like Jake Duke was delivering it confidently every time.
Yes.
So it makes me think that they have actually got
correct.
some.
So could you let us know how to say it correctly, please? Because I've been saying as well, Halangahu.
Yeah, and it was great to see him actually get some minutes out there as well. I think he's sort of become the forgotten man at the Dragons a little bit, whereas it felt like 2 or 3 years ago he was all the rage. All these other guys who are, I think that's the other thing with Jacob is that he's 19. These other guys are 22, 23. Like they should be sort of coming into that point of their career, but I think he's going to be still a very important part of this side heading
And a massive congratulations to the Dragons. The Couchman brothers re-signed till 2030.
So good.
That is fucking brilliant. And look, if they got them right now, I'm not saying that they're worth $1 million right now, but if they got them for any like 700 to 800K, that's a bargain in my opinion. Because Toby Couchman will probably play at Origin, if not next year, but the year after. Ryan Couchman isn't far off. If you're getting in the new salary cap, those boys for under $1 million over the next 5 years, that's a fucking good get in my opinion. That's a good get.
If based off just the last probably 8 weeks, if you said to me that Ryan might be starting to get in front of Toby, I could hear that argument as well. They're both unreal.
They can play anywhere in the forward pack. I actually went and looked at Payne Haas's stats this year, and I looked at Toby Couchman's stats this year. And it's hard to measure them because Toby Couchman plays a different role where he does a lot of defense. However, he's only 8% less than Haas on average. We're talking about essentially the greatest front row of all time, and Toby Couchman is already in the same stratosphere as him statistically. And you could argue defense takes a lot out of Toby Couchman, so therefore he would actually be closer. It's just amazing. It's amazing what Toby Couchman can do.
Yeah, and then, you have a look at Ryan as well. The last 3 weeks, he's made 47, 57, 43 tackles. He's only missed 1 in 3 weeks. His run meters have been 125, 112, 188.
Unbelievable. Scored a try on the weekend as well.
Yep. Just to sort of show you though, like, and I know some people out there don't like when we do this, but like when you talk about like Supercoach stats and all that, like it's like what they do is all built off just the work they get through. Like if you have a look at Toby, he's averaging 75 Supercoach points this year. Like Ryan's 73 and he plays less minutes.
Yeah. And I think they're actually either equal to or more than Haas this year. And I know I didn't want to bring up the points because I know people don't like it, but I actually think they're actually doing better than some of the other best forwards in the competition, Supercoach points, fantasy points wise.
Yeah, like they're flying at the moment, both of them.
So if you've got them for like if you've got them for about 800K each, mate, that is a steal. Not a steal, but it's a bloody good deal. It's a bloody good deal.
I also love the names of Rauchman and Tauchman.
That is great. Yeah, that is good. That is good. Then you got Egan, you got Hamish Stewart, you got Pacifica Tonga. Yeah. Or is that, did I just mix that up? Half.
King Tonga is the
King
half.
Tonga, yes. And then you got Pacifica Tonga.
What do you think of him?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. I think that, what he was brought in under Flanagan and, for whatever reason, didn't really click. Maybe under Dean Young, he's getting the best out of him. I thought his defense was way better than what it's been.
Who do you think, who's going to be the forgotten man next year? Like, because you've got the two halves arriving there for next year. You've got Connor Watson arriving.
I think Atkinson's on his way out, unfortunately. It stings me to say, but when you're dropping a guy the same week that you signed Cody Nikorima, like I think that.
Yeah, well, I heard a rumor last week that Kyle was told that he could look around as well for next season. So, but like you can only carry one of them on a 6-man bench realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, do you just take King Tonga with the most upside, the most in front of him?
And the cheapest.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen, to be honest.
I've heard a few people talking about, who do you reckon they'll lose out of Flano and Atkinson? Surely it's both.
That's what I think it's both.
I think it's
Surely
both.
it's both.
Which sucks because Atkinson's a gun and he's actually a victim of, he was shined by Shane Flanagan. Like, he's kind of taken the brunt. And look, he hasn't played great. I'm not going to say he has played great. But like, I kind of feel like he's getting placed in the Shane Flanagan basket because he was signed by him. And he's like not necessarily Dean Young's preference to a degree, which is, look, he's got plenty of good footy left in front of him. I think you'd be crazy as another club not to pick him up on the right money. I still think he's got some NRL footy in him.
If you're another club though, like, do we all agree you couldn't pick Atkinson up as your starting halfback?
He's a 6. He's always been,
yeah.
there's a thing.
He's always been a 6.
He's always been a 6. And that's where I think as well, he got unfairly done by Shane Flanagan, where for some reason he wouldn't put Kyle Flanagan in the 7. He put Dan Atkinson. And it's just, I think he's been a victim of circumstance as well as hasn't played great this year. Dan Atkinson.
Would you start him as a starting 5'8"?
Well, depending,
who you
but he would be, he's an NRL there or there. I would have him as in my squad as a 6, as a backup.
Yep.
But I'd be confident in a good, decent squad that he could do a job at 6. We've got to remember, like he's played some fucking good footy before. He really has. He just, yeah.
I'd be interested to see, like, depending on what happens with Blaze Tongi at Penrith, I wonder if he could be one that they have a look at.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind that as well, especially like with the freedom to just fully be a 6. Because the games where he's played well is just run first.
The other option as well, he's obviously spent time in the Melbourne system as well. That wouldn't surprise me as well.
True. But anyway, look, they were tough loss though. All right, on to the Dolphins. It's time for our Bushranger Battler of the Week. The Bushranger Battler of the Week is brought to you by Bushranger Power Equipment. Tough, reliable gear built for hard-working Aussies. Whether you're on the tools, on the land, or sorting the backyard in the weekend, Bushranger is built to get the jobs done. And guys, if you're looking for power tools or power equipment, give them a follow on Instagram, give them a message because they support us, guys. Without them, without their support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So we really, really do appreciate Bushrangers' support. They've just agreed to go around again for a few more months. So thank you so much to Bushranger. We really do appreciate it. But the Bushranger Battler of the Week, mate, it's Kurt Donahue. He is like the definition of a battler. He comes on, he has a half line break, and then he absolutely levels, I think it was either Stewart or Egan, makes him drop the ball, they go on and score a try. His impact off the bench and his ability to jump in and play half when he needs to. Like sometimes I hear commentators get shocked when he plays as well as he does in the halves because they're probably unaware that he actually came through as a half to a degree. He wasn't a forward, put it that way. Mate, he is one of the most versatile players in the competition. He's shot, I'm just trying to get the time that the shot happened. So 27 minutes to go in the second half. The score was, I think it was 18-10 or 16-10. Donahue forces an error. They go down and score. It's now 22-10. Like, that's a game-defining moment from a guy that did it with defense. He can do it with defense and attack. When he came on in the first half, he had a half line break. Huge moment from Donahue, and he's truly become one of my favourite players in the competition. He's a friggin' gun. The only bad thing for him is he's worth way more than what he's getting paid on the bench. And if you're a club right now that needs a guy like him, as long as you give him a proper position where it's 13, 6, mate, if I'm a club, I'll be going after him. I'm not sure how long he signed for. He's a gun.
I don't think the Dolphins will be letting go of him anytime soon.
How can they afford to keep him though?
I think you have to find it for someone like him. Mate, he's played 7 internationals for Fiji in the last few years. Like he's played 5 at 5'8", 2 at halfback. He hasn't even played as a forward there or a hooker there. What he's done in first grade, the amount of positions that he covers, especially, I think he really showed his worth last year when they were injury depleted. Like he was playing 80 minutes. They weren't even really giving him a position. They were like, just go and do your thing.
13,
Wherever you see a space, just play footy. And he just did it all year. He was tremendous. I think the Dolphins will do everything they can to lock him down heading into the future. And If Matt King's watching, which I assume he is, put this guy on the radar, please.
Mate, he's origin made. He's origin made. And I think even one of the other tries, he was the first receiver, goes deep into the line to create space on an edge. Like, he's a dog. He is a dog with a capital D. Absolute gun. Dog Donahue. Thoughts on the Dolphins, mate?
Yeah. Look, got the job done. Wasn't super pretty. Dragons ripped in. Kurt Donahue. We've been big fans of him on the show for a long time, probably since he came across our desk playing those internationals for Fiji a couple of years ago. Hell of a player. They've got a few that are kind of cut from the same cloth, haven't they? Max Plath, another one who can kind of just get out there and play some footy. Interesting, they're both coming off the bench at the moment. I would have thought maybe once we get to the pointy end of the whips are cracking, one of those guys is starting at 13. But yeah, they got the job done. They had another win, just kind of building into things nicely. Good to see Katoa back and get a full 80 under his belt as well after a couple of weeks out. I think that's an pretty important time to get him back in, about a month out from the finals. But got a win. They're within touching distance still of the 4. They're one win outside of it at the moment. So all the pieces are kind of coming back together at the right time. That's, stacked back line, Katoa, and just a forward pack, which, they can just play a range of roles. So, they'll take it. Wasn't a super sexy win like the Roosters had, but good enough for this time of year.
What about that offload from Lemuelu? My God. In a year where, and look, Fini Fuaki did make the team of the week, but almost in any other team, or I'll say 80% of teams, Lemuelu would be getting talked about constantly as their best back rower. He's just not unfortunately, he'd be stoked, but because he's with Fini Fuaki, who's having the season of his life, we haven't been speaking about him. But I'll tell you what, in regards to like flair and making things happen with ball in hand, he's actually better than Fini Fuaki. Fini Fuaki's running is fucking unbelievable. His post-contact is crazy. But in regards to like offloads and footwork and who you're trying to throw to get a try or create something and make a line break, have a line break assist, it's actually Lemuelu. Like that offload that he threw, like there are very few people that can throw that offload.
I think like when you look at when the Dolphins first put their squad together, I think the examples will always be they signed Hamiso, who was a winger, he turned into the best fullback. Like these other guys that they sort of picked out of reserve grade. Mate, he was like a winger centre at the North Queensland Cowboys, Lemuelu. Signed him. Fine Fuiaki was up there as well, of course.
Yep.
But like Lemuelu might be one of the better examples, realistically, of just how good the coaching system is up there.
Yeah.
What they've done with him is wild.
Yeah,
over the last
absolutely.
few years.
And there were points where I was like, I was questioning whether he's a regular first grader. And when he first arrived, and he has just developed into an absolute weapon on the edge.
Well, you essentially had him and Hamiso sort of playing reserve grade wing and centre.
Yep. Crazy.
Now they're one of the best fullbacks in the game and, one of the most underrated back rowers in the game.
Yeah, you know what? He probably is. He's definitely in the top tier of underrated back rows in the competition. Thoughts on the Dolphins, mate? Who stood out for you?
Yeah, well, I think with Lemuelu, like, if you go back and you look at some of the best sides, like, obviously he did it on the weekend again for the Bulldogs as well, but kick out at the Panthers when they went on their run and, like, having a back rower who can just create something out of nothing is just so underrated. And I think they've just got a real good balance there between Fina Fuiaki, who he does have a bit of that in him himself, but like you sort of said before, Kempy, like his ball running is just so good and he gets through a lot of work. But then Lemuelu, like, has a bit of that upside as well with the offload. So I thought he was great. You guys mentioned Donahue before, like
he's a
crazy that he wasn't on the radar by game 3. Like I understand game 1 this year, like sort of if he'd been a bit slept on, but I thought he would have got more of a chat. I hope next year he's definitely there or thereabouts.
What's his best position, Donahue?
Rugby league.
Yeah.
Honestly, like just let him go.
Just have a fucking go.
Bring him off the bench.
Bench middle.
Play the Dylan Walker sort of role.
Yeah.
Just let him go.
Especially in today's game, because like the bench is no longer you're just not in our best 13. It's you have a very specific role
You
to play.
have a crucial role. Yeah.
But yeah, he's a gun. It was sorry, Tommy. Keep.
Sorry, just before you do move on to because we'll move on from Lemuelu now. He's only missed 5 minutes of this season. Played every other minute.
Wow,
Tough, eh?
that is tough.
Crazy. I just think like with the bench though, like when we had the 6-man come in and everyone was like, oh, that'll sort of kill guys like I think it definitely did kill guys who are there to cover a lot of positions. Like you're not as valuable. But when you're a guy where like your specific role, like you mentioned Dill Walker, Kurt Donohue's probably the best we've seen at it since Dill Walker in terms of someone coming through. Like I don't think if you're another club, you need to sign him and be like, you need to play 13 for us or you need to play 5'8" for us because we're going to pay you this money. Like I think you're paying for a guy who can come on and break the game open. Like that's why I think it's worked against Dylan Walker that he sort of started it when the game wasn't ready for it. He sort of pioneered it. Whereas now that we've got a sample size of how valuable guys off the bench can be in that role, like, fuck, I think that's what you're paying for, you know?
And also his ability, like if there's injuries, to cover. And cover like 9, 6, 13,
Yes.
he can cover.
It's still there.
I think you're also starting to see coaches more and more now only use 3 of their players off the bench and just keep the 4th for in case of an emergency, which I think if that becomes more of a trend, which I think it's starting to, that's where guys like him, just their value explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, it was a scrappy performance, though, from the Dolphins, I will say. I agree with Hammy. I think they're still – I wonder whether this is they were going so well for so long that they're lulling right now. Like, physically, I wonder if you looked at all their stats and numbers internally, this was almost expected. Because usually when it comes to sports and conditionings or whatever, this is all part of a plan of a season. Like, your peak players, and then you bring them back down, and then you bring them back up for a peak. And I just wonder whether they're either still recovering from that massive loss, confident-wise, or they are just a bit flat because they were so high for so long. I guess we'll see.
They've had a bye at the right time. Come back after that. Got to win. Not their prettiest performance, but, get Katoa back. Easy, get their mojo working again for the next couple of games. They got a pretty decent run home.
Because it was 70% completion rate. Like, that's fucking poor.
Yeah. Apart from the Chooks, all their other opponents are in the bottom 8. So it's actually a pretty good opportunity to accelerate.
True. Very true. So, look, good stuff still from the Dolphins, even though it was very scrappy. Hopefully they can continue. Look, if they complete at 85%, they win by a substantial margin.
Yep.
So
Yes.
it's just looking in regards to anything else going on here.
Both centers were great.
Oh, Herbie.
Especially back
Fucking hell.
towards the middle. Love how they use them.
Mate, Herbie Farnworth is just like a joke. He's a cheat code.
Oh, it's great.
Like, he basically just guarantees you, like, every set, pretty much a run that's going to get a quick play of the ball, or at the very least, skedaddle the defense. 203 metres, 74 post contact, 6 tackle breaks, 2 try assists, 16 tackles, 0 misses, 4 offloads, and 3 line break assists.
Is he still coming to us?
Fucking hell.
Probably.
Well, there was a report saying that he could, when November 1 hits, the deal's going to get done. That was a report.
That's what I read the other day, and I really fell over. That'd just be unbelievable.
Like, he does, like, I'm gonna say, like, I hate to say it, but he kind of does suit a Roosters vibe. He's hot, eastern suburbs, cafes,
Down outside back.
Pom.
Yeah, like be like the Ryan Hall upgrade, respectfully to him.
Have Ryan Hall and Herbie.
I don't know if they're in the same kind of.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's an upgrade. That's what upgrade means, guys. Get off me.
Who was the other English winger you had? Red-headed fella. I think you went to South too, mate.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Joe Burgess.
Upgrade.
Isn't
Okay.
it crazy? You just mentioned Herbie, 4 offloads. Like he averages 3.2 per game this season. Like, it's not even out of this world for him. It's slightly above average having 4 offloads in a game.
Like, and in today's game, where, like, if you offload, it fucks total defense systems because it has to be so tight because the ruck speed is so quick that, like, that extra staying up or having to get back up, it can gas you before tackle 5.
Yeah, it's also not like it's round 2 and he's come out with a sudden offload. He's been offloading 3 times per game for 18 fucking weeks. Just no one can stop it.
Just mental, bro. Absolutely mental. And just quickly before we move on, the NordVPN defense play of the week. Setu 2. Not a fan of Cody Nikodema coming to the club, obviously. Absolutely fucking jammed Cody Nikodema. Outside in tackle. That was the defense play of the week. And yeah, the NordVPN defense play. It's proudly brought to you by NordVPN. I was overseas before the season started. I used NordVPN myself. Sporting events, TV shows, movies, you name it. Watched it like I was back home. Super convenient. Another great feature is that you can switch your virtual location to so many different places in the world. This allows you to save money by purchasing flights, hotels, subscriptions from other countries at a cheaper price. It's also super safe. NordVPN provides you with privacy online, leaving no digital footprint by hiding your IP address. It's like wearing an invisibility cloak. Speaking of invisibility cloaks, look, shout out Harry Potter. Shout out Harry Potter. I actually put this on this morning and my son was like, Harry Potter. And I was like, fuck. Yeah, bro.
That is a pretty sick shirt. to be fair.
Thanks, bro.
Is
Appreciate
it from a specific movie?
No, I think it's just celebrating the franchise as a whole.
Yeah, nice.
More of a vibe.
Wholesome.
Yeah, wholesome stuff.
Hedwig on the front,
In saying
too.
that, he's
They're
quite
pretty young.
He's pretty
Yeah.
young, so it might be the first few
I
movies.
think that's actually the photo for the first one, the Philosopher's Stone.
You know what? Actually, it might be the cover for it.
Yeah, the Sorcerer's Stone.
The magic begins. It's definitely the start.
Yeah, it's the first one. You can tell that's the old school Dumbledore as well, and then Hedwig.
Yeah, okay, there you
up
go.
top.
There you go.
It
Like
was
that.
it was actually called the Sorcerer's Stone in America.
Yeah, and there's the book.
Well, it depends if you've got your VPN turned on.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. That's good stuff from you, Hammy. That's good stuff. Too bad you go for the Tigers. It's also
Broncos suck.
it's also
Fine hand, mate.
it's also super safe. NordVPN provides you. I'm just going to turn up that neutrality later on for the Tigers now.
I'm sure you will.
NordVPN provides you with privacy online, leaving no digital footprint by hiding your IP address. It's like wearing a visibility cloak. To get the best discount off your NordVPN plan, go to nordvpn.com/bloke. Our link will give you 4 extra months on the 2-year plan, and there's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can try it, guys. If you don't like it, you got a 30-day money-back guarantee. The best in the biz. The link is in the podcast episode description box. And also, a massive thank you to NordVPN. They continued to partner with the show for the next few months. If you're going to use a VPN, guys, use Nord. They've supported us for quite a while now. I think a couple that, like, not all for the whole 2-year period, but I think we started last year for a period and then again this year. It really, really does help us do what we do, guys. So if you're going to do it with Nord. We're very grateful for all the support they've shown. Okay, time for the Doggies v. the Storm. The Dogs defeat the Storm 36-22. The score kind of doesn't reflect how close this game was. I thought Storm was super brave. I thought the Dogs were relatively disciplined. I think my biggest takeaway from this is I think Serraldo's system and style of play is very catered towards like finals footy and big games, because I feel like there were a lot of 6-agains, a lot of penalties given in this game. And I feel like as soon as you get into that territory, the Dogs kind of struggle. Whereas in games where there's low amount of 6-agains, not as many penalties, it's a really, really good system. And I feel like certain refs, when there's a lot of line speed in big games, certain refs will like allow that to go. Whereas sometimes in like during the season, they don't allow that kind of line speed where they're half offside, half not offside. And I think that sometimes the Bulldogs can run into games where the ref is going, no, I'm going to ref this like a genuine club game. Because there's multiple offsides, multiple 6-agains given, a lot of penalties given away. So I actually thought the Dogs were relatively disciplined, and they didn't allow that to frustrate them into getting silly, being desperate or whatever. So although it was against a very, very understrength Storm side, I actually was pretty happy with this Dogs performance. I thought the Storm were actually really, really good for how many injuries they had. And I'll throw to you in regards to the debutant. Was there 2 debutants?
Yeah, there's 2 guys to watch coming out of this game that I think are going to be really important for Melbourne heading into the future. Obviously, the halfback that debuted, Hayden Watson, he played the full 80 minutes. He's got an unbelievable running game. His center of gravity is incredible. He's very strong. He can sort of play hooker or he can play 7. I sort of thought for a while there he's going to be a better hooker than halfback, but he's making one hell of a fist of the halfback role. I think he's going to be a really important guy heading into the future. And the other one was Jai Belden, who came off the bench. I think played 10 minutes. Fuck, you could see the class instantly, though. I said before the game in the Rookeries, he reminds me a lot of Owen Paddy. And I think he could, at least Owen Paddy's got a genuine pathway to first grade. That's the only problem with Jai that I'm looking around at Melbourne. Like, the only reason why he played in this game was because Gabriel Satrick, another 9 there, was suspended, I believe. So he's very young. He's got a lot of development in him, but it'll just be interesting to see pathways-wise with Harry Grant there. Just don't know if the opportunity's going to be there.
Yeah.
I think he'll become a really interesting guy for a lot of other teams out there.
Mate, speaking of Watson, I tell you what, like, if you just have a game where you don't look out of place as a debutant in the halves, that's outstanding. That's actually outstanding. Like, I don't think, as a half, if you're debuting, you don't need to set the world alight. Now, sometimes halves do set the world alight, and sometimes debutants, outside backs or whatever, will set the world alight in their debut. That's a rare few. That's a very rare few, including myself. It's a very rare few that will do that. No, but all jokes aside, the fact that he didn't look out of place, that's huge. I thought Watson looked really, really good.
So he's been playing halfback in New South Wales Cup. My brother's been playing 5'8" with him. I said just before the game, because I went, okay, if he's going to be on the right side, he's going to get Critter, kick out,
craziness,
crazy edge. Says Josh, I go, how do you think he'll handle it? And he essentially said, if it doesn't go well, it's not because the moment got the better of him.
Okay,
like he is just a cool, calm, and collected young guy. He obviously played in the under-19s a couple of weeks ago. brained that, got man of the match in that game. At the age he's come into even New South Wales Cup level, and he doesn't look out of place in any way, shape, or form. You can already see with the way they play, they've got a couple of set plays built around him as well that they utilise. The age he's at to move down to Melbourne as well and just handle all that so well. Yeah, obviously you got Cam Munster who's negotiating with other clubs, and I kind of think it's the forgotten thing that everyone looks at Cam Munster and goes, he's getting older, and I was like, Jerome Hughes is the same age.
Yeah, they need to find some people. So.
They need to find guys down there, and I think Hayden Watson is definitely going to fill one of those roles heading into the future. It's just a really good kid too.
There was one moment where I think they made a line break down the left. And just the confidence to come all the way in. He took a bit of a hit up, made a half line break. Like just little moments like that. There was multiple times where he made like a little half break. You could see his footwork. I'd assume, me personally, I think there's a chance Munster might actually be somewhere else next year. And I wonder whether they're looking at, and I do think the timing is interesting to give him a debut. I know they were, quite understaffed, but they still did start him. And initially he was on the bench and they shuffled things around. Did Hughes go down late?
Yeah, so Hughes, but
then they moved Wishart to 9, and Trent Tello went to the. So they moved things around. Oh, mate, him and Hughes, if Hughes is he'll be there next year, obviously. That's going to be a pretty electric 6 and 7 in regards to ball running.
If for nothing else, let's say Munster is there next year. You got to remember, Tyrant Wishart's not going to be.
Yeah.
So there's a spot there for Hayden Watson, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So I loved what he did. Also, he wasn't a debutant, but is it Hinchy?
Angus Hinchy, yeah.
Mate, there's just something about him. I love him.
There's something Melbourne about him.
Yeah.
He is just an out-and-out Melbourne player.
Yeah.
I think he's another one that'll... There's a couple of guys there like your Preston Cons of the world, your Angus Hinchies, who you probably would have expected them to come on a little bit more this year, but just with the way it's all played out and injuries and all that sort of stuff. But Angus Hinchy's going to be a leader at that club heading into the future.
Boys, just a quick overview of your thoughts of the game, mate, and then we'll get into the controversial call.
You go.
I was just going to say, along with Hayden Watson, I thought Trent Toler kicked really well, especially. He obviously had the 2 try assists, but seen a bit of him in first grade over the last few weeks, and I thought this was probably the best game I've seen from him, especially playing in the halves. So I thought, even though Hayden Watson's obviously going to be the guy that sort of steps up there as Munster moves on, whenever that may be, I thought Trent Toler showed that as a guy who can cover, I thought he really stood up in this game.
What about yourself? What overview of this game?
Yeah, the Doggies continue their kind of charge towards. They're the one team for me that could probably jump in at the moment. Things starting to click for them. Some new combos starting to work nicely. But the Storm, braved. There's still a lot of injuries, or obviously Hughes ruled out at the last minute. But some little green shoots there. You've touched on a couple of them. Just on Hinchy, for all the Big Bash fans of the show, very Ben Menenti had to do a bit of a double take there. I'm sure you'll agree with that, Kempy. The spin bowling all-rounder from the striker.
Mate, I was screaming that on my TV.
Yeah.
I was like, he looks exactly like the bloke.
Yeah, Ben Menenti.
The bloke.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
This is a cricket podcast, obviously.
Obviously, we're in our off-season right now.
Give a little half volley to
Just before we move off the young guys, I thought there was a cool moment in this game when Angus Hinchy scored and you had Tyrant Wishart go through. He set up the try, and there was a bit of a moment where you saw all the young guys that have been playing Cup the last few weeks charged Angus Hinchy to celebrate. Then the older guys with Wishy leaving sort of ran over to him to celebrate, and then they all sort of came together.
Yeah.
Cool little moment of just, all these young guys that have, the other thing you got to remember with all these Melbourne Storm juniors is that these are guys that, they haven't come through the pathways there. They've moved from Queensland, New South Wales down there. They're a very tight-knit bunch down there.
Okay, let's get to the controversial call per se. Well, there were 2, we'll go to the 10 in the bin. Roo, was it 10 in the bin?
I guess you got to take it a step further back.
Yes, the forward pass.
It doesn't happen if you don't have the forward pass, right? Which I think is the other thing that's frustrating. It's not the end of the world for me, this one. Doesn't sit perfectly with me, though.
Yeah, I'm a 50-50 on that one. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. I will say the idea that Bailey Hayward didn't know what he was doing, I think you're being a bit naive. Now, was it a sin bin in the sense that you had enough evidence to suggest it was an intentional thing? That's where I get in the 50-50 territory, because although he could have made it, I think Lockie Galvin was running as well. So I'm neither here nor there. I think where the anger would come from a Dogs fan is like it came off an illegal play. Like it was clearly forward. We could all see it was forward, but they couldn't rule on it. And obviously back to your talk earlier in regards to forward passes. But did you think it was 10 in the bin, Bailey Hayward?
The incident alone, I thought, was 10 in the bin. The fact that it was off the back of the forward pass is what, like, understandably, I could understand Dogs fans being pretty upset about it, but I thought like it was an attacking opportunity.
Well, I'll put my Dogs hat on right now. Did you have enough evidence to show that he intentionally tried to hold him back rather than it was a reaction to a kick going through?
I think that it became, I think he went to react and then he realised that they were in trouble and he grabbed him. So I think that alone, sin bin, I'm okay with.
Okay.
If it happened to the Roosters and the play before was a
forward pass,
a blatant forward pass, I'd understand why people would be fucking furious. But I think, it was.
Sin bin?
Yeah, I'm just having another look at it here. I don't know that he fully like grabs him and pulls him back. He definitely kind of checks him on the way through.
That's what I mean. It's very...
Which I'm like, in the big scheme of things, I think it's pretty stiff. And particularly given that the forward pass happened as well. Like, I don't think there was ever really a genuine try-scoring opportunity there, really. Very line ball.
He knows what he's doing, but to what I was saying earlier, you can't prescribe what he's doing. You just have to go off what you're seeing. And I think there's enough grey room of like, because he doesn't really, it's not like he wraps his arm around him and pulls him. He kind of just steps in his way, puts a bit of a shoulder in, and then he pulls away. And, if you were being very generous to him, you could say, I just got slow reactions. Like that when I realized the ball was going through is when I pulled away. Anyway, so there's that call, which I'm happy to say that sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. I think the biggest negative from it was clearly a forward pass. And I almost wonder whether if you're the ref, a video ref at least, or whoever made the decision for 10 in the bin, should have he taken that into consideration? Should have he said, okay, that was a fucking forward pass before, so I'm just going to give a penalty here?
I don't think you can. As much as does it pass the pub test? Probably not, but I don't think you can get into those areas.
Because we do see that sometimes where a ref will give a howler away, and then there'll be like a 50-50 call where he's like, boom, gives it straight away because he's like, I need to fucking make up for that terrible call earlier. Okay, let's get into the other call. Now, this is where I'm going to get probably hounded by Storm fans, I guess. That was a knockback from Rinakama. It hit his forearm and it went back. And I think the fact that it went up as a try, if your argument, like I think a lot of people think that they were showing the replay over and over to see whether Rinakama touched it. I don't think they were doing that. I think they were showing the replay over and over to see whether it touched Rinakama's forearm and then touched Brown's shoulder. But I think if you're replaying it that much and it went up as try, then I think that that's evidence that you're not confident enough that you have enough evidence to overturn the call.
Did watch it a wild amount of times, didn't they?
That's what I mean. So it's like you're clearly seeing there saying, I'm so unsure about this. There's not enough clear evidence to overturn the call. And I actually didn't think it touched Brown's shoulder. And I thought even if you're worried about Rinakama's forearm and it going forward, if you actually watch it, it goes like a meter backwards. Look where Rinakama touches it and look where it lands. So I actually think the video ref got that right.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards you as well. Yeah.
Tommy?
Yeah, I'm the same. I think that they checked it a number of times because, like you said, I think they were trying to see if it touched the other player as opposed to like the direction it went anyway was definitely backwards.
Because there's actually another one that happened with Panthers versus Raiders where Liam Martin, I actually think there's evidence that you can clearly see it touches his forearm, but they replay that a million times and they overturn the call. And I'm like, how can you overturn the call when you're so unsure as to what, because it went up as no try?
They had another angle in the corner post.
Oh, the corner post angle. Yeah. Did you think the Bulldogs Storm, I think it was Burton that scored? Try or no try?
Yeah, no, I was happy with kind of where they landed, but geez, they gave it a good going over.
Yep.
Probably a little bit too much, but happy with kind of where it got. Just on Jethro Rinakama, he's killing it at the moment since he's kind of made that left wing spot his own this year. Real handful, good meters out of his end, and scoring quite a few tries as well. So he's been a great addition.
And credit to him, he's played unreal footy since he had that shocker a few weeks ago. Had a lot of pressure on him and he's responded really well.
Yeah. And I think the takeaway from that, I'm hoping Serraldo, we don't know, but I'm hoping Serraldo after that tough game sat him down and the rest of the team down and said almost like, okay, here's all the errors, but here's his stats. He ran for fucking 200 meters, had 23 runs. So while you're all subconsciously saying, I can't believe Rinakama didn't catch those bombs, Why is he taking 23 hit-ups when you're taking 10 and he's the rookie? That makes sense. And I think that you can see that whatever Serraldo did in that scenario, he is just brimming with confidence now. AJ brimming with confidence at the moment.
Nice, very good.
Thanks, bro.
Well played.
Thank you. And so, yeah, I think Ridikama's been great. Critter at 6, boys. Now, I'll be honest, I don't like how they came to the decision of him coming to 6. It feels very reactionary, very much like, oh, shit, we need to do something. However, if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, is he the long-term 6? I would have said absolutely not. I'm still in the court of like, no, I don't think he's the long-term 6, but I'm starting to get shaky because he's looking outstanding at 6.
I think it, without a doubt, happened. Oh, shit, we've got to do something. But, like, if it works, it works.
That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
It looked like
It's
it
winning
looks like
games
it
of
works.
football. If it's going to get you into finals, sweet.
I don't know how to feel about it because it's not the right process in which you should be selecting your halves for long term. But at the moment, he looks great. He looks unbelievable. He made our team of the week.
Yeah, I think it's like a massive nod to the caliber of player he is. Like obviously with the shoulder injuries earlier in the year, he copped a lot of shit that he probably didn't deserve relative to the career he's banked up in the meantime. Like I think even with like guys like Freddie Fittler over the years, you saw them move him around based on what the team needed. He would move positions, and I think this is one of those examples. Like I think each week that goes on, the more it's like, well, what's your alternative? Like I know you can move Galvin to 6 and put a rookie in there next year. Like they got a couple there as the option, obviously, Alex Conti and Mitch Woods. But Crichton's your captain. He's your leader. He's coming up with most of the big players. Like he had 2 tries just on the weekend, scored one himself. Like,
geez, it helps.
He scored 2 himself. Sorry, like
if he can be their 6, it helps their cap so much because you have to pay him a Mozza at center because he is so good and he's your captain. It like balances out your salary cap, so much better if you're paying him that money and he's a number 6. And he's essentially, I know he's got 6 on his back, but he does do a lot of the talking and the get the boys around the park and stuff.
And I think sometimes, like, to your point as well, like, I don't love how they've got there as well. But if you find, like, I just looked up the example of Sean Berrigan in 2006. Like, hadn't played hooker in 5 years.
Yeah. Yep.
They needed a hooker. They made it work. He wins the Clive Churchill medal. He plays the next 4 seasons at hooker. You got there in a weird way.
Yeah.
It's not what you planned. But if it's the best thing for the football side, so be it.
They'd also tried a couple things already this year that didn't work. You know what I mean? So I think like you can't really knock them for. They found themselves in a weird spot off the back of the Galvin stuff last year. Took them a few goes to get it right, but like I think this is definitely the most right it's looked.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm sure they will claim, we were right to stick by Galvin at 7. When it's a bit of a hoodwink, it's like, everyone was still right in the sense that he's not a genuine 7 that can lead you around the park. But because Critter's moving into 6 and he kind of like leads him like a 7 verbally, but physically plays like a 6, like it's given him a little bit of an out with that.
Yeah, but I don't think they would be putting that argument out there to shut us and the media up. I think it's to back Galvin.
Yeah.
Realistically.
Critter is, I got to say as well, like, do you know how hard it is just to play okay in the halves in the NRL? To do it when you essentially haven't played halves ever is outrageous. It's actually outrageous because Critter is a specialist centre. He played a little bit of fullback at the Panthers. I think sometimes at the Bulldogs he's filled in. Now, some people have suggested, maybe he could be a fullback. I don't know whether the K's in his legs would be a good thing. He is a big body, like he's quite big. With how many K's you've got to do in today's game, I don't know if that'd be good for him. I cannot express to you how good of an athlete you've got to be to do what Critter's doing right now. Like I'm talking 1 in a million type athlete to do what he's doing right now in the NRL at 6. It's actually insane.
He's a freak. He's a
Freak of
genuine
nature.
freak. Yeah.
The intelligence, the footy intelligence to lead a team around the park when you've never done it before is actually insane.
On top of that, you add in for the 7 weeks before he moved to 5'8". He was injured.
Yeah, he's busted. Yeah. Just incredible. He's just such an amazing player. In regards to some other players, as I said, like I know it wasn't their best lights out performance, but I actually think that was more to the fact that the Storm were really good. The Dogs were they were really disciplined. Kick our boys.
Yeah, the importance to him to this side is insane.
Like I think heading into this year, if you had to said like list the most important players in this squad, you'd go Critter, Galvin, maybe Burton, Or Burton, was in the halves.
I think you probably would have had Preston in front of Kickout as well.
Maybe
at the start
Preston
of the
because of his
season.
consistency.
Yeah.
Honestly, he might be just under Critter in regards to importance. Now, I know they won some games before he came back, but they have looked an entirely different side with him in the side.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Like, it is, and I've been guilty of it. I'm not sitting here saying, like, oh, I knew the whole time. Like, I've been guilty of not crediting the importance he is to this squad.
Yeah, I mean, he came up with a couple of huge offloads to Critter. Obviously on Critter's one of his tries, but then also on that Jamin try. And we spoke about it a little bit earlier with having back rowers who can just create. And, like, I think he's always gone after the moment. I remember you talking about him after the 2020 grand final. Didn't have his best day out, but
He
you really
went after it.
Yeah, you really wrapped him for going after it. And I think that's something that you can always bank from kick out. But since he's come back from injury, the consistency, it's probably the best I've seen from him while he's been at the Bulldogs.
On both sides of the ball, because there was a period there. So he throws that crazy offload. Like, these little baby hands, they're not throwing no offloads.
Nah.
I can't even throw an underhand offload. I'm wrapped up two hands. Usually throw offloads underhand like that. At the very least, it's on the side. He flicked it out like that. He's got two blokes on him, flicks it out like that. Critter scores, and you think, okay, that's what kickouts are part of this side for, to get points. Not to mention the barnstorming run he had early in the game to get a try. 2 or 3 minutes later, he's on his own try line and he makes a one-on-one try-saving tackle. Like, that's the difference of kick out, 4 or 5 years ago to now. He has a fully well-rounded edge back rower. Who stood out for you with the doggies, mate?
Yeah, well, that back row, having both those guys back and fit and, back from injury, such a weapon for them. Both sides of the field. Now you got Kickow and Preston getting into their work. That's a real handful. Look, Jamin Salmon, for me, very good. Couple of tries. Caught with a bit of a hot mic there as well, complaining about his dick.
Always love that.
And Dan Ganane following up with a thank you, Jamin. I thought that's probably my favourite moment of the game.
And hope your dick's okay, Jamin.
Hopefully.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers for Jamin's dick.
Hopefully. But, the back, all three of those guys in the back row for the Dogs playing good footy.
Yeah.
No secret over the past, 3 or 4 weeks since Kickow and Preston have come back. That's where they've really accelerated and made their charge for the finals. So they're going really well.
Who else? Are the Dogs making the 8, Rune?
I've got them in there.
I've got him in there too.
Yeah, I've got him in there too. I can't believe I'm fucking saying that, but I think they will be there.
Yeah, for sure.
It's incredible because genuinely a month ago, I'm sitting here saying they got to rebuild this whole roster. Now we're sitting here saying, well, they're going to make the 8. Are you worried that this could paint over a few cracks?
Yeah, potentially, but I don't know. Like, what are the cracks still then?
That's what I mean. It's just
what are we?
Leo Thompson's been solid. You could argue he's on a pretty big wicket.
Yep.
But I think Max King's found his form again. I think Leo Thompson's getting better and better for sure. I think the one thing that I would take away that Storm and Dogs have struggled from this, like Panisi even came out and said that they struggled to adapt quickly enough to the new 6 again rule where it's like more 6 agains and everything. I think if you actually go back and look at, so at the start of the year, there was a crazy amount of 6 agains. And teams with very specific systems that weren't, I guess, robust enough to adapt struggled. But if you actually look at when the Dogs started to win some games and play good footy again, the 6 again average went down by like 2. I think it was up at like 7.
It was around about the origin period. It started to die off then. Yeah.
And so what it says to me is that, Serraldo has the system at this stage to play finals footy as long as it stays like this. And that could be a good or a bad thing. I think that we have to give grace to squads that, he's still in his infancy as a coach. Like, to suggest to expect him to have multiple systems ready to go off the cuff to suit certain styles of play would be a bit much. And so I think that if the game can stay where it's at right now, I think that they're good. They're really good. It just shows you how specific Serraldo's system is, though.
Yeah, and I think in hindsight, there's a very good chance that Serraldo was guilty of being over-prepared.
Yeah, absolutely.
Realistically.
Because he's preparing. He did a whole preseason preparing for last year's rules, which were the 40-metre mark, and then within 2 weeks before the season starts, or 3 weeks, they changed the rules. And look, if the Storm are coming out and openly saying we struggle to adapt, then it's not like we're just like excusing the Bulldogs and making excuses for them. It's like, no, These systems they're hard to make. They're hard to maintain.
Not to mention as well, like, we're still playing under the same rules today, but it looks very different to what it did at the start of the season.
Way different. The 6 agains are way down.
So even
Way,
though
way
you
down.
had those 3 weeks, it was like, okay, you still don't know what it's actually going to look like and how it's going to be officiated realistically.
Well, you look at this game, and where they looked the most clunky they've looked in a few weeks, the Dogs, was a game where there was a lot of penalties. So I'm pretty happy with where they're at as long as the game stays where it's at. But yeah, outside of that,
Do you reckon there's an argument on the inverse for teams that, and I'm sorry to put the boot in here, Hammy, but we got to the start of the year, Tigers are looking good, they're high flying. Did that play a role in that maybe it was a little bit easier for teams to just throw the football around?
maybe. Yeah, maybe teams that have fallen off from the start of the season. I will say, the Tigers, it was their defense that I was the most impressed with. That's what at the start of the season, but yeah, maybe. Yeah,
It's changed since then, unfortunately.
It has, sadly, both.
But
Both the
anyway,
attack and the defense.
Burton's been so much better since he's back to centre.
And your halves.
Burton is just totally looks just the shackles are off, really. Okay, let's get into the next game. Warriors defeat the Titans 42-6. Now, this is exactly what the Warriors needed, in my opinion. I think they've been scrappy for a while. I think the loss they had last week, it had been coming for a while. The Warriors actually probably could have won this game by more in certain periods. But the KO can't miss moment for this week, guys. It's a passage from Egan. Man, I tell you what, I've been watching Egan closely over the last few weeks, and he is, especially in attack, he is a special, special talent. So the Titans are trapped on literally their own goal line. They are absolutely getting pumped. So Egan, trapped on their own goal line, just starts to get a little bit crafty out of dummy half for 2 runs. And then on the second run, not only does he get extra meters and get momentum for the set, he wins a 6 again. So he wins a 6 again, or should I say sex again. And they go up the other end, and a clutch ball from Egan to Harris Tavita, they score a try. That whole set early in the game from Egan, that was purely crafted from his own rugby league intelligence. And if you go and look at that AKP try, the pass that he does to cut out and hit Harris Tavita on the run on an out ball, you actually look at the numbers for the Gold Coast Titans, they had the right amount of numbers. But if the dummy half pass is good enough and flat enough and fast enough, it actually just completely negates those numbers. And that was all a passage. Pretty much Egan mastered it. From the get-go. Under the pump, takes the ball out, does a bit of creativity around the ruck, holds the markers, does it again, gets a 6 again, and gets down the other end, they score a try. Egan is honestly, he's a pleasure to watch in attack. Seriously, he is something special. He's honestly getting to the areas where I'm not going to say he's as good as Api Coruscant in regards to his craftiness, but he's not far off. He really is not far off.
He does it in a different way though, and fuck, it's effective.
It's unbelievable. It's fucking unbelievable. It's
every time you see AKP or Dallin with a meter of space, it's because of what he's done around the ruck. I think for what he does, for people outside of us that are just fucking nerds that are locked into every single game, he might be the most underrated player in the league for the general public, I reckon. Because you can't really appreciate what he does unless you can't appreciate what he does in a game of football if you're watching it at the pub.
You can't.
Or if you're not tuning into every single play and watching just the way he manipulates the ruck and the space he creates everywhere, and just the effect that even when he just takes his 2 steps where his eyes are pointing, how straight his body is, it just manipulates the entire line. I think there's a real argument for him being the most underrated.
Yeah, mate, Khan Pereira, that try that he scored, a lot of people will focus on the in and away. And granted, it was an incredible in and away. So he'll get all the raps for it. But they're not watching the fact that Egan has been responsible from this 80 metres down the field.
Yeah.
It all started then.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah, when they were under the pump and they needed someone to get a bit crafty around the ruck to hold some markers up because they were screaming up. Gets the 6 again. He is just phenomenal. And I'll tell you what, there are probably 2 or 3 other 9s in the comp that could get potentially their side into the top 4 with 2 6s playing. Because what do we keep saying about the Warriors? They're missing a genuine 7. I still believe Tamani Martin's a 6. Harris Tavita, definitely a 6. But with a guy like Egan, he's essentially playing a little bit like 7, like Appy at his best, Harry Grant also at his best, but there's very few actual 9s that have the craftiness to actually do that. He's a special talent, Egan. I hope that they go deep into the finals or do something special, because I think that's the only time he's probably going to get his dues
Yes.
as a high quality number 9 because he's just missed out. He's been on the edges with Origin. Just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah.
They play the Panthers this week, Friday, 6
Huge.
p.m. Absolute cracker. Followed by the Roosters and the Bulldogs on Friday night. Unreal night of
Bad
footy.
night to be a couch.
Oh, awful.
Or a good
Awful
night.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective.
They might like that kind of thing.
Depends which way you. Yeah.
But you're wearing pants or not? Who stood out for you, mate?
Well, I think just on the the Wars attack, like you guys just wrapped Egan, and I think the last couple of weeks, especially in that game that they lost to the Dogs, like off the back of his work, I thought he was still pretty good against the Dogs last week, but I thought Aaron Clark and a couple of their other middles, they played a bit more lateral than they normally do in terms of being square off the back of the space that Egan creates, and I think that also plays a big role in the space that opens up outside of them. So yeah, Egan was incredible, but I thought what Aaron Clark was able to do in terms of being more square to the line and bringing his ball playing back into it a lot more in this game. Mitch Barnett too, like that tip that he had on, was it Stour Smith who scored off the back of it? Like, yeah, I thought their middles off the back of Egan this week just a lot better. Like, so just dominated. They were just rolling through the Titans and.
Well, I think that Andrew Webster's smart enough to know that like if we're going to do any damage, it's probably going to be with our forwards through them. Like, don't get me wrong, they'll score on the edges, but a lot of the damage will be done through the middle with Egan and that big forward pack.
I'll tell you, I'd love to know over the last 2 years how many times I've jumped over the Chans Torpiki fence.
Oh,
but
mate. It hurts.
Chans was outstanding on the weekend.
Yeah.
He was unreal. And you sort of, when you watch him play like that, you go, how could they do anything else?
Mate, I'm with you because I've been a big Chans defender for quite a few years where, Tuapiki with the ball running is more exciting, can create space or whatever. But that CNK gets through a lot of work for one, and Tuapiki does too, but it's more hit up work from CNK. But that 3-on-2 Chans is just so good at.
Yeah.
But Tuapiki has been great this year. So I'm with you, mate. I don't know what the answer is.
I know it's hard with the two-prong 9 attack that they've got, but just with the forward pack they've got. And once again, you can't really do it if you're running the 2 hookers. But with Chans being so good at playing out the back like that, I'd love to see Tuapiki just maybe put on the field when he's available, just at different times, and just let him run through the middle. Just let him be a support guy. I reckon his fast feet could cause havoc there, but you can't really do it if you're running the 2-prong hooker attack, which I think is more important.
Yeah.
I would love to see him utilised somewhere.
Yeah, he's a freak with ball in hand. Very, very good footwork. Stour Smith, another outstanding game. Mate, their ability to develop forwards. Thoughts on Leka Halasima in the centres, boys?
Didn't hate it.
Didn't hate it either.
Yeah. I've seen him play some good games there, unfortunately, against the Tigers in the past. But, yeah, he's just a footballer. He's been a little bit quiet this year, but, a bit more space. When they had their tails up, he was a handful. The guy that's kind of slotted into his spot in the back row and been killing it and had a great game here as well, Jacob Laban.
Yep.
Yes.
He's just having a hell of a season. Big, strong runner, real handful for defences. And, yeah, the last few weeks in particular, he's really probably put a bit of a stamp on that little battle him and Halasima had for that role. But
it's his now. I reckon Laban's played well enough where he is definitely locked in.
I'd agree. If you can find a way, as they did on the weekend, that have them both out there, that's a handful to come up against.
Yeah, I think that was Leka's best game. Weird season for Leka. At the end of round 3, he'd scored 4 tries and you were going, fuck, here we go again. Since then, he scored 2 tries, scored his second on the weekend. And when he has been playing before the weekend, he's been pretty average, realistically. Obviously, he set a very high benchmark. But even for just an NRL player, a lot of the errors he was making and all that sort of stuff, I could understand why he ended up on the bench and sort of out of this side for a period of time. I think he had a hamstring injury as well, but he was playing nowhere near his best ability. Chuck him out there at centre. I also love that they swap sometimes. You mentioned on that play, there was a few times where they gave AKP just a one-on-one shot and went up against Jojo Feta, a pretty damn good defender.
Bathed him twice, actually.
Bathed him.
Craziness.
Yeah.
There was a line break as well out of his own end where he just went in and away, see you later. He's quick.
Did surprise me, Leka playing centre, I can understand, but I would have probably thought the other centre, Leitao, would have been the one to drop out for Pompey first, I thought.
I think Pompey's defence has been struggling. So I actually think Leitao has had a few games here or there where he's looked all right. I will say, even though Pompey is a fucking big body and a scary centre in attack, come finals footy, you probably want Lecker on the field as much as possible. If you're looking for something special, that point of difference, that's a scary prospect to have him out there. As long as his defense is okay, the ability to just throw him the ball with a bit of space, that is fucking scary.
Yeah, I reckon there's a good chance you'll see him come in to start there for the finals. I said before, Stowers Smith scoring. It wasn't him. Is it Aremia Tova?
EIT coming off the bench.
EIT,
I think
yeah.
Stowers Smith made the break though, didn't he?
Made the break, yeah, but then off Barnett's short ball, it was EIT. And I just think, like, with Webster and what he's done with this pack, like, for a long time, like, pretty much since they came into the comp, the Warriors often have a forward pack full of guys where it's like, fuck, like, you'll win games sometimes where you just completely bash the other team and you just overpower them.
Yep.
And I think they've, like, you look at their pack here, they've got a lot of these guys, but the way that he is able to use them, like Barnett, ball playing. We've seen Barnett run lines off Clark and score a couple of tries this year. At one stage, they used him out the back as a sweep, as like a link. And like Stowers Smith is doing stuff like that. We all know Aaron Clark can do it. Like the creativity is just so sick. And even like someone like a Lecker, who was a back rower, we've seen him do a little bit of stuff at centre, but just the versatility that these guys have with their skill set is just incredible.
You mentioned EIT there. They came off the bench. He was very good in this game. He's one that I remember when I think he made his debut last year around mid-season. I remember talking to some of the Warriors, sort of said, mate, he's in the sort of the top echelon in the group as far as speed, power. Like he's just one of those freaks.
Wow. Scary stuff. Titans, not much to say. Just a super disappointing performance. I actually thought Tino especially started really, really well. He was one of their shining lights, but completion rate terrible. You know, what just disappointing. They've set a bar, they've set their standard, and they didn't reach it. Now, look, this is only natural for a rebuilding club, but still disappointing.
Yep. I guess last thing just on the Warriors too, the debut of Riley Price, Steve Price's son.
Yes, that was
the
cool.
Warriors.
That was
Very cool to see. The Titans, I want to believe so bad. And every time I do, you let me down.
Mate,
It's been 5 years. We do the same thing every single time. I feel like they are, well, right now, I feel like they're heading more in the right direction than they have been before. But fuck, I expected more out of them in this game.
Yeah, just it was one thing. If you get beaten and you're completing relatively high, you know, okay, whatever. But 67% completion rate, like you're going to get tail up against any top tier side. But yeah, look, the shining light was Tino. I thought Tino's last few weeks has been phenomenal, like really, really good. He had 16 runs, 174 metres, 74 post contact, 5 tackle breaks. And Philip Sammy also worked his absolute backside off, 239 metres. And he had 25 runs.
Mate, Phil Sami, as far as the Dragons go next year, like all these signings that everyone's talking about, he's the one no one's talking about. He's a great signing.
Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. The fans are going to love him. They're going to absolutely love him. And Panthers defeat the Raiders 42-18. 42-18. And the Panthers just said, okay, people saying we've fallen off a little bit. People saying that there's a bit of speed wobbles. Raiders have been in great form. They just did what the Panthers do. They just squeezed the absolute life out of them. They were clinical. Yes, there was a first 20 or 30 minutes where it looked like it was going to be a relatively close game. The Panthers were clinical. Nathan Cleary, just absolute control of the game. Isaiah Yeo, phenomenal. Like the Panthers are back. I didn't ever feel like they'd left. They were still absolute favourites for me. I was always of the mind that it was a bit of a lull due to post-Origin. They're back in a big way. Raiders, look, I wouldn't be too upset as a Raiders fan just from the fact that you got a hungry Panthers side that was wanted to rectify the miracle of Mudgee from last year, but B is looking to prove a point. You know, the best team in the comp, obviously 42 is not great, but if you're on the edge of the 8 and you're trying to fight into it, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So I wouldn't be too upset with it when you consider where the Panthers were trying to be and what they're trying to do. Root, thoughts on this game, mate?
I think as well with the Raiders, like you got to appreciate Hudson Young's out now. Simi Sasungi got ruled out of this game. Like it's two of their 5 best players. Like they're missing a lot of troops there. It's been a tough season as it has already. I think the scary thing is, boys, like Raiders have been playing good footy the last month. And Paddy came back in, which I thought would improve them. Mate, Penrith are missing half their spine, and they just changed one of their spine members. Like they're missing their hooker and their fullback, and they just changed their 5'8". And they absolutely bullied the Raiders in this game.
Mate, they looked unbelievable.
That scene of Nath running down the right edge, holding the ball in one hand, showing it like he's playing fucking Queen's Park touch was unbelievable.
Yeah. It is just
crazy.
They are a special team. I want to talk about Isaiah Yeo. Like this This is how good Isaiah is. This is the standard that he has set for himself and how much we, and granted, Salmon had an incredible game, so that's why he got in our team of the week. But this is what Isaiah does.
Get well soon, Jaimin. As well.
Sorry?
Get well soon, Jaimin.
Yes.
Yes. I checked NRL physio before. Nothing about Jamin's dick, so you should take his space again this weekend.
So we're still unsure whether his dick's okay.
I think physio hadn't reported on it, and physio had a field day on the weekend. So,
but Isaiah, he set this high standard for himself. We're not even talking about it. 15 runs, 151 metres, 38 post contact, 4 tackle breaks, 2 line break assists. So you'd be going, okay, then that's a pretty normal game for Isaiah. 55 tackles, 0 missed in 75 minutes. Like no one, and we're not even talking about it. It's not like if another player did something like that, it would be one of the talking points of the week. Isaiah Yeo, I reckon there's probably in the last 5 years, I reckon you could say there's 4 or 5 games where he's played less than 8 out of 10, maybe 4 or 5,
maybe. Yeah.
He is a special talent. His consistency, his standard that he set. He is just obviously Nathan Cleary is the man. Obviously he's the guy that runs a team or whatever. But I got to say it's 1A and 1B for me. Like I genuinely believe that if you were to go ask internally the importance of players, I think they'd have Isaiah Yeo essentially on the same level of Nathan Cleary.
If you're Perth tomorrow to get him to run out as captain round 1, what are you willing to pay for Yeo? Getting older. Let's say it's a 2 to 3 year deal.
Oh man. And I'm looking to set long-term standards.
Yep.
Probably 1.3, 1.4.
Yeah.
1.4.
Like genuinely, because I know that he is going to, or not, he's not that he's going to, but like out of all the players across the entire NRL, who's the most likely to come in with the correct mindset for success? It's probably Isaiah Yeo. Because when you hear him speak, he's almost like a coach out there. When you hear Laurie Daly speak about him, he's like, mate, he was genuinely like a coach. Mate, he is phenomenal. It's a little bit like Billy Slater to a degree or your Cam Smith. Like they are coaches out there. They are so intelligent. They're so good at what they do. Mate, I'll go to you first, Hammy. Thoughts on the Panthers Raiders game?
Yeah, they kind of answered back in a big way, didn't they? And I think you're right. The fact that they had the miracle at Mudgee kind of game last year gave them an extra kind of spring in their step. They're still, they've got a few players to come back in. Dill Edwards still not there as well, so that's a good sign for them if they're winning that convincingly without guys like him in the side. But yeah, Cleary on a completely different level. The interesting one is probably Jack Cogger coming in. Blaze Talangi sits out. I don't know. What do we make of that? They kind of clicked into gear and they probably had their best game in the last 4 to 6 weeks with that new combination. Not saying it's all due to that. They obviously all played well, but it's going to be interesting to see how they use Blaze for the rest of the year based on the back of that.
Well, it's a tough one because the question around Blaze was the attack. Like, what I mean by is the reason why you wouldn't drop him is because you want to score points. They scored 42 points.
Yep.
And so, if they...
He was great in attack too.
Exactly. So if you're looking at it going, okay, and he also had, he had 2 try assists. But if you're looking at it sitting there going, all right, ironically, he actually missed 8 tackles, which is hilarious, but if you're sure that he's a better defender than Blaze and then he has 2 try assists, it's like, where is the pathway back in for Blaze? If you're sure that he's a better defender.
Well, I think if I'm Jack Cogger, I'm looking at this Warriors game this week going, if we can win this, I think the spot's mine. If I can play well and we win this is our biggest test on the run home.
Roosters the week after?
Roosters the week after.
Beautiful. If Jack Cogger can play well the next 2 weeks, I would assume that's Cogger's spot.
Yeah. Well, if they went after him and there was 8 misses this week, those back rows for the Warriors, they're probably no harder kind of assignment. So
yeah, and look, not all missed tackles are equal.
Yes,
like when you actually look at Blaze Talangi's missed tackles, they're actually not that. Like if you completely miss someone, you don't get counted as a missed tackle. But yeah, like it's going to be a very tough way if his attack is as good as it was on the weekend, and they assume his defense is better. It's going to be a tough path back into first grade. I was actually a little bit surprised. And look, granted, you're throwing out your systems and kind of like, what plan you had at the start of the year. But like with Dylan Edwards out, like I wondered whether they would have given Blaze an opportunity at fullback. Now, I know it's a little bit, you could say it's a bit silly. He hasn't played there all year. He hasn't trained there or whatever, but I would like to see him be given an opportunity at fullback at some stage, Blaze.
Yeah, it's interesting with Dylan Edwards out that they didn't maybe consider that.
And look, I from a Panthers perspective, they're like, no, that's not part of the plan. The plan was, here's Dylan Edwards. He's the guy that's been playing fullback week in, week out in reserve grade. He's the next up. So when Dylan Edwards is out, he comes in. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him play a bit of fullback.
I didn't watch it, obviously, so I'm not sure how he went as a whole, but did go back to reserve grade, scored the first try in the game there.
Okay.
Blows.
What was his? Got his stats there by any chance?
18 tackles, 2 missed.
Okay, what's his attacking stats like?
So he obviously scored the first try. He ran for 127 metres, 15 runs, 24 post-contact metres, had a try assist. Like, it is interesting when you're way up. I don't know you said all missed tackles aren't equal, but like, I think to Rue's point, the next 2 weeks are pretty telling because I think if they, what do you do if they do get, like hypothetically, if they do get towed up by the Roosters or someone in the next 2 weeks? I know there's every chance they won't, so relax. But if they did, and
I don't think you immediately drop. I think you look, you know what Blaze can offer because he's been there for 2 years. I think you give him a month. I think you give Cogger a month. I
think it's very telling too that they obviously kept Tungo on the 6-man bench. They didn't keep Blaze on the 6-man bench. They didn't get him to play fullback. They went with Edgar. So it obviously is a very specific. You just need to fix your defense. Like,
but the problem is like if Cogger nails his spot down, he's November 1. He's free to speak, Blaze.
Yeah.
What's the path forward for him? You know, like I don't think they'd be signing him on the money that he's probably on right now because I don't think he's on overs or anything like that, but he wouldn't be on minimum, that's for sure. He was almost like a marquee signing for him when he came across.
Yeah.
You know, I personally think Blaze is going to be a bloody good NRL player, but I think he might have a little bit of a tough period over the next few months. If Cogger plays well, he's going to face a bit of adversity in his early NRL career, and it's up to him to just keep focused, keep locked down, because like you get to November 1, there might be a world where Panthers say, again, we're talking a lot of speculation, but you might be on the open market. You might have to make some tough calls. It might feel like you've been hardly done by and rejected. It's just a good footy fixes everything, and I'm sure he will.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, if the Panthers come out and win these next 2 games, like you're 3 weeks away from finals. They'll probably rest one. You're probably 2 games away from finals for the Panthers.
He won't. I don't think he'll come. If they come out and win these next 2 games, I don't think he comes unless Cogger plays terribly and they play really well. I just don't know. I don't see him getting back into the side, unfortunately. Which is
I think he's
tough.
at odds too. Yeah,
and I know that I've seen a lot of talk around like, they just rested him and like, he'll be back in next week or whatever. Like. I feel like I don't know why people are saying that. You don't just rest blokes in reserve grade. Like I don't know. It's been weird how this idea of like they're just kind of freshening him up for to come back. Like what are we talking about here? Ivan Cleary is a ruthless winner. Ruthless. He has been pushed back because right now he's not the best 6 at the club in Ivan's eyes. So it might be a tough few months for him. But I still have full faith that Blaze is going to be a bloody good NRL player. As I said, I would love to see him spend some time playing fullback, though. I think he could be special there.
I'd love to know, too, as you said, in Ivan's eyes, I'd love to know how much of a say Nath has over this, too.
Because
he'd have to.
Well, I personally think it does actually open Cleary, Nath up to play more of a 6 role at times with Cogger on the field.
Yep.
It gives him a bit more freedom because I've always wondered, like, what would Cleary be like as a 6? He's got a bloody good running game. If 4 years ago, yes, he was very conservative, very system based. I think he actually has a lot more in his arsenal than people give him credit for, Nathan Cleary. Like a lot of people could just go straight away, he's Cooper Cronk. I actually think he has a little bit more in his arsenal than Cooper Cronk has.
Heaps more.
And so I just wonder whether we see him play a bit more of an attacking role now that Blaze is not in the side.
Yeah, I think any chat around him just being like a system halfback, I think that's people that are jealous of Nath Cleary.
Yeah.
Like that's the reality.
I think you could have said it for about 4 years ago. I don't think you can say it anymore.
No.
And I don't think you could say it for a couple of years, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think realistically, I love Cooper Cronk more than anyone. Like he couldn't have won that grand final against Brisbane. He couldn't have done that.
You know what? It was put to bed in that grand final.
That's
that
what
was
it
a
ended.
system. Yeah, that was game on the line. I'm just going to do something here.
Find a way.
Yeah.
Did you see his kicking tee?
No, what did it say?
It's like a black. It looks like a super tee, but it's like black and it's got NC7 on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, it's like his own. I know he loves his American sports and shit, but it was very like
American.
your own. Yeah, sick.
I like that. NC7. Okay. Boys, who stood out for you guys in regards to Penrith outside of
Would have loved to have seen you kick with the DK5.
DK5? No, I was a fullback,
You
mate.
two?
I was a fullback, mate. DK1.
DK1.
How dare I?
That sort of sounds like Dick, though. It looks
What's
like,
wrong with Dick?
Yeah.
well, depends who you are. And again, thoughts to Jamin.
Because every time I kicked it, I was kicking the opposition in the dick. You just got kicked in the dick by DK.
DK1.
Some other good performances. Jenkins, I thought he was outstanding. Got moved
28
to
tries now for the year.
fucking mental, bro. Actually mental.
Not bad.
That is actually. Will that be broken ever?
Probably not.
Well, assuming we go down to 20 games at some point in the next decade,
Yeah, probably
I don't
not.
think so.
Absolutely mental. Leota good. I thought Isaiah Papali'i was outstanding. Actually, you know what I did love? And this is a credit to actually the Raiders. So Liam Martin, a penalty is given. He points to Zach Hosking,
Yeah.
does the 1 out. Zach Hosking took care of him, took care of business, ussed him.
Yeah, I was
I was
going.
like, wow. You don't see many blokes ussing Liam Martin. And I know Liam Martin got the chockies because they won by 1,000,000 points. But that's a little win that Hosking can put in the back pocket.
Former
Good to see
teammates
that.
too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been loving Freddie Lussick too. Like I reckon he's really come on while he's been filling in for
It's funny, we actually haven't spoken. Like, obviously, Mitch Kenny's a gun, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But we actually haven't spoken about the fact they've been missing Mitch Kenny for ages now.
yeah, like but just before half time, and obviously they were already up by 24-6, but he put in a kick and Kyle Weeks dropped it. Like forced an error, early kick, and then Edgar scored off the back of it. And like I remember him when he was at the Chooks and that, and like solid player, but I didn't think he'd be capable of what he's been doing.
Well, at the
since he's been
moment,
here.
I got to be honest, when the Dogs signed him, I was a bit like, I don't know, I'm not sure that he's your main guy, but it's starting to look like a bit of a masterstroke at the moment. The Dogs signed him at number 9 for next year.
Oh yeah,
Also, never forget his one-off fight against Taylor May in the boxing ring.
yes,
Great stuff.
yes.
Rugby league, through and through. So great win by Penrith. On to the Raiders, boys. Hammy, thoughts on the Raiders? Where they're at?
Nice reality check after carrying on last week and doing the Tiger Club at Canberra Stadium. The rugby league gods getting your back, Canberra fans.
Oh, wow.
Look,
Wow.
I mean, Penrith are, they really kind of clicked in a gear. They were red hot, tough day at the office. I'm with you though, Kempy. I don't think it's like panic stations for them. This year wise, look, can they make the 8? I probably don't think they can. They probably finished just outside for me, but the fact that they've been able to get so many games with this kind of new look spine together through the season, and they've kind of built into their work really well, I think is a good thing. So yeah, they just came up against a team that was just hungry, ready to go, making a bit of a charge after a bit of a post-Origin lull. They just got taught a lesson by a team that's probably a little bit ahead of them at the moment. I don't think it was a disaster by any stretch. They mixed it with them early in the game, particularly. But as it went on, Penrith just kind of kicked away from them.
You know what's absolutely insane is that, so you're looking at that score, 42-18. That's a dominant performance. They actually had 50-50 possession of the possession. So it wasn't like a 60-40 possession split. Their completion rate was 80%, which is pretty good. Meters run, they got dominated there, dominated in the post contact. They got their line breaks doubled. They actually won the tackle break count. Their play the ball speed was relatively the same, but their average set distance. So they just got. It's interesting because I wonder whether that was the outside backs. And funnily enough, we always talk about the Raiders. They're on when they win the offload count. They won the offload count 10-3. But I just reckon the speed and the power of the forward pack, which I actually questioned a couple of weeks ago, where I said I'm a little bit the power of the Panthers forward pack. They got dominated a little bit for periods there when they lost those games. The speed and the power of the Panthers forward pack was just way too much for the Raiders because they actually did a lot right. They just, as you kind of said, like they just aren't on Panthers level, unfortunately. Like Nathan Cleary was responsible for 4 try assists alone. So if I want to be harsh, I could say when they did defend their goal line, they weren't very good at it. But outside of that, like they did a lot of things right.
Without circling back to Penrith again, sorry, Raiders fans, you just made me think about it. That try that Edgar scored, where Nath Cleary threw that pass, where like live, I watched that and my rugby league senses just went, has to be something wrong with that.
Yeah.
Then you go back and watch it, and just Nath Cleary, just the amount of people he manipulated and his timing in that moment, fucking freak.
Yeah. And so, like, all that space that he creates, it's like, yeah, your defense could be better for sure, but it's like sometimes you just go up against a goat.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, I thought for the Raiders, look, Corey Horsburgh just went an absolute million in this game. He ended up playing 75 minutes against the Penrith Panthers. Tried his heart out all night, as he has all season. But yeah, they just weren't on their level, as you said.
They were for like the first 20 though. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought one area can be like you spoke about their goal line D early on in the game. Like they obviously scored the first try and did a good job down that left side. A couple of times they found themselves in good ball, and their last tackle options just weren't great. Like they either didn't get a kick away or just got caught with the ball on last, which you probably can't afford to do against most good sides, but especially against the Panthers. So when you talk about the fact that they then got run off the park in terms of run meters and post contacts, I think they could have made more of a game of it. It felt weird after that Edgar try. And it's like, fuck, it's 30-6.
Did it feel like 30
for the first half of the first half, it certainly didn't feel that way. So, yeah, it was just too clinical.
I thought Timoko had a red hot crack as well. But yeah, look, tough loss to the Raiders. Look, we could be highly critical and pick him apart at the moment, but it's like, as I said, I want to see him next week. If they play like this next week and they get beaten substantially, then it's like, okay, let's have a real look at where it's gone wrong here. But honestly, I just think the Panthers were fucking phenomenal. I really do.
Just before we do move off this game as well, like Tom Jenkins, obviously on this unbelievable try-scoring run at the moment. Like, if you have a look at him this season, in an unbelievable purple patch, he's averaging 1.5 tries per game. AJ at the age he's at, he's averaging 1.4 tries per game. And it's not even being talked about at all. Like
Insane.
the age he's at in a team that I would argue is underperforming massively, the amount of players that are missing for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, all that sort of stuff. The other thing as well, which, you look at what Jenkins is doing right now. He's scored 28 tries in 19 games, which is out of this world. Like if you go back to Turbo in 2021, it was 28 tries in 18 games. One less game.
Mental.
Fucking unbelievable, like just how much of an outlier that season is going to be for Tommy Turbo. So if he's on 28 tries now, Jenkins, he's got, 5 games left? Where do we reckon he gets?
Probably 30, 32, 30.
If he makes the grand final.
Do they count it like that, though?
Do they count?
Oh, no, the record would be at the end of the
season.
The regular season, right?
I'll say 30. I'll say 32.
Over under 32.5.
32?
No, he's getting
No, I reckon he's braining that. I reckon he'll go, because he's a guy that won't get rested, I don't reckon, as well, when they get to the, so he'll probably play all 5 games, probably score 6 against the
he won't
Tigers.
score. No, I was going to say we defend very well on the wing. So yeah, the Warriors, the Chooks, the Storm. It's a pretty tough run.
32, boys. It's 32.
Over under 32.5.
I reckon he hits 34.
So 38, I think, is Dave Brown's record from 35. So that'll be interesting to see if he can get that.
I
close.
think he'll find himself around 31, going into round 27, and then I think he'll finish on about 43.
Oh, very nice.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Your Tigers are so shit. We're the premiers, bro. We're the premiers. Holy shit.
Are you wearing a Panthers jersey in that game?
I will be, unfortunately.
Holy fuck.
Thanks, Flaxy.
So you got to have 10 tries scored on your wall wearing the Panthers.
Well, I'll have to leave at halftime to get to work, but
Just 5 then.
yeah, just 5.
I also saw this morning
Watch
too,
him break the record and I'll go.
Miko, the Panthers fan who takes his shirt off in the crowd, he got Tom Jenkins' signature tattooed on his
Jesus
stomach
Christ.
today.
On you,
Huge.
Miko.
Wow. Huge effort. Alrighty, it's time for the Knights defeating the Broncos 30-6. I had the pleasure of flying up and watching this game. Heaps pleasure. Outstanding from the Knights. I thought the Knights were phenomenal. I thought Kalen Ponga absolutely carved the Broncos. I thought Fletcher Sharp was phenomenal. Francis Manu Leilua, incredible on the edges. They played like a team. They actually worked together on hit-ups. I thought they're coming out of trouble, spreading the ball early, gave the Broncos so many nightmares. This was exactly the performance the Knights needed. They were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. What do you think of this one, Root?
Yeah, enjoyed it. Newcastle Knights, obviously they lost their boys last week. The Dylan duo, I was going to say trio, the Dylan duo last week. A lot of people sort of ruling them out of this competition. I think you could say the Knights took that a little bit personally in this one. They really good game. I enjoyed watching KP at fullback, just the amount of space he was creating on the edges for both of those wingers. I thought Phoenix Crossan was great at hooker as he has been all year. Yeah, I think Newcastle, they're not a team I'd want to play at the back end of this season.
No, especially with that, they're coming out of your own trouble, willingness to spread it from side to side.
Yeah.
Like, it can trouble teams because, like, most teams are too scared of making an error to play like that. Whereas Justin Holbrook has just backed him in. And you get early ball to Young or Marju, like, they can create something. They can create havoc, absolute havoc.
Who would you rather have as your head coach of the Brisbane Broncos for the next 5 years? Madge or Holbrook?
It's
bizarre question, isn't it?
It's a bizarre. I'd say Madge. I'll say Madge. He's won the comp. Like, I get what you're alluding to is we're probably going to lose some players, it seems.
I'm not even alluding. I'm just alluding to like what Holbrook has managed to get out of the guys he has there. When you look at the next 5 years, like you won the comp and just.
Well, if you're not alluding to losing players, definitely Madge then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But if you're saying to me that
it plays a role in it.
Yeah.
Though, yes.
If there are players that are going to move on from Madge because of, I guess, the environment.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit clear. I'd still choose Madge. He won the comp. You just got to give it to him.
Yeah.
Got to put it up. Thoughts on this game, mate?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Manu Leilua had that cutout ball, but he also forced a few errors. So I thought, he was incredible. I thought the fact that he was incredible sort of overshone the fact that McEwen didn't necessarily have his best game in a while. Like, I know he got sin bin, but just in terms of having a couple of errors either side of it as well. But yeah, KP was incredible. I honestly think that Marzu's like the form winger of the comp. Like, I know we spoke a lot about Jenkins and his try scoring before, but when you look at like just, I guess, holistically their games and the fact
would he be
that
Dally M in Dally? I'd say he'd be in the Dally M running for a winger of the year.
I think it'd be crazy if he's not one of them.
Like Jenkins has probably got it locked.
Yeah.
He's got that one wing locked. His meters are crazy. But I'm trying to think in regards to other wingers that have been consistently gun.
Like, you could go down the Mark path if that was something that like the angle you take. I just think when you factor meters run, his ability to finish,
value
how
to team as well. Value, like how important he is to what they do.
Yes, 100% in terms of like the work he gets through out of their own end. I also think like when he first burst onto the scene, like he really did have some shockers in him, and they just seem less and less frequent now. So yeah, I thought he was great.
So just to stick on that, boys, at the moment, I'd say Jenkins has one Dally M wing position. Then it's probably Marky Mark / Marju. Who would you have in the Dally M positions for winger of the year?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably, I reckon Mark will have polled more votes. Probably there's more probably moments there that kind of stick in the mind. But Marju's had a great year. A lot of pretty consistent through the year as well.
Maybe
But
Cobbo,
Yeah, there's Cobbo. Yeah.
Asako,
be
both
up
the
there.
Dolphins wingers will go close. I mean,
I think Greg easily over Mark personally.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
running for more meters. He scored. Greg scored 19 tries. Mark has scored 15. He's played a few more games to be fair, but I mean that also plays a role being available.
Does the individual brilliance of Mark
that's
bring
what
him back up
cuts through a little bit more.
to be even with Marju?
Yeah, potentially, but I think when you throw in the run meters, the tackle breaks of Greg, I'd find him very hard to go. And I also think it matters when it probably shouldn't matter, but I think it does matter. Like you look at Mark, he was one of the wingers last year. Greg's elevated so much. I think that helps push him as well when it's going to come to making that decision. I think it'll be Tom Jenkins and Marcia for me personally.
Okay, who you going?
based on like just optics and eyeballing it, I would say Marzu. Will he have too many points taken away from him?
Let's just do what we think the Dally M. Don't.
If it was me picking it, I would go Marzu
and
then probably Jenkins. I think that the Dolphins conversation is interesting because I think those two wingers, it's more of a debate with Marzu versus Mark. I think he's clearly in front of Mark in my opinion.
Mark and Jenkins.
See, I don't think he's clearly in front of Mark. Like what makes it? What specifically makes him so far ahead of Mark?
I think his meters coming out of his own end elevates him. You know, he scored as many tries, if not, like people would argue, in a lesser team potentially, despite them playing better footy than the Roosters for a good whack of the year. I also think it does matter as well when you're picking these awards. Like I think realistically, not everyone starts from a base when it comes from the same base. When it comes to these awards, depending on what you've done in previous years, also matters as well.
Yep.
I think Greg's just taken a huge jump this year.
Yeah, you'd also never see Greg not chase a kick like what we saw in the early stages of Thursday night. Like I know, like Mark's a freak. He then scored 3 freakish tries, but I do think like in terms of just being consistent, I think Greg's more consistent.
So right now, Mark's averaging 170 metres per game. He's got 64 tackle breaks, 4 try assists and 13 line breaks with 15 tries. Sorry, I'll just get Marju's numbers up here.
I mean, once again, without coming back to it, and the other one is AJ. He still scored 22 tries in 16 games.
Yeah, I'd just say with the work out of his own end, he probably...
I wouldn't pick him, but he's another one that, you know, if he can score a few more tries at the back end of the season.
So Marju, 19 tries, 21 line breaks, 0 try assists, 90 tackle breaks, which is like about 25 more than Marky Mark. And he's averaging 189, so 19 more meters per game. They're pretty close statistically. I think actually like fantasy points, and we're not going by fantasy points. I think Mark actually averaging more than Marju. But I think it's a great topic. Let us know in the comments section. And this is all brought to you by Lontel, guys. If you want the best internet in all the land, go to lontel.net.au/bloke. You get 7 days free trial, no contracts or anything like that. You just give it a trial, and you also get some credit. But yeah, let us know at the moment, right now, who would be your Dally M wingers for the 2026 season. But yeah,
I think now Greg's also got a higher floor for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that in regards to like some bad games.
Which once again, he used to have a lot of bad games in him. Now he doesn't, which I think it will also help push him up.
Yep. But what were you saying about some of the other players, mate, before we spoke Dally M?
Yeah, I thought they were great. Obviously, you guys spoke about Crossland before. Like, I think he's someone who, over the next couple of years, depending on what our new coach wants, I think he'll at least be in and around the squad for the Blues. Like, I think it's really underrated with Crossland that he sort of came through as like the 7, like that he was going to be the 7 for Newcastle, and then it didn't really work out that way. And the way he's been able to sort of adapt his own career in terms of like, it's a weird thing, especially at a club like Newcastle. And for so long, everyone was like, oh, like they've never recovered since Joey, and that was sort of the talk. And then all of a sudden, you're the guy coming through junior reps, and for him to turn into like this 9, we've seen him play 13. Like he's obviously represented the Kiwis. And
well, who's your 9, JMK or Phoenix Crossland for the Kiwis?
I think Finnish Crossland for sure. I reckon.
I don't think it's a for sure case. JMK is a fucking good player.
He's a freak.
You've also got Brandon Smith too. Remember, he'll be there and there.
I think he'll be used off the bench. I reckon. I reckon they'll have a genuine starting 9.
I think Crossland, like he could potentially even captain them over the next couple of years if that's the way they go. Like he's been huge for the Knights this year. Like even he was doing it anyway, but since Brown got injured against the Chooks, like even more so, the way he ball plays for them still at first receiver sometimes. Like I think he brings a lot more, like even his kicking game. Like we talk about Owen Paddy, like Crossland's right up there with him in terms of.
You reckon he could captain the Kiwis? I don't reckon he
potentially
could captain. You got Fish, you got Tarp in there.
Well, for the next couple of years, like Phoenix still has a lot of time. Like
who's your Kiwis number 9?
Well, look, the year that Phoenix has put together, probably him.
Yep.
JMK, still a very good player. No reason you probably can't have both of those guys in the squad there. But, yeah, he's been added a few extra strings to his bow, 40-20s, kicking out a dummy half and stuff too. So either of them would do a great job. But right now, if you had to choose one, probably him.
So I assumed that JMK was the incumbent last year, but it was Phoenix. So yeah, that probably does. I mean, he hasn't done enough to lose the spot, without a doubt.
Yeah,
so, that's
I
fair.
reckon it's a close call, but I'd be going Phoenix just because, you know, in regards to creativity, JMK has him, but I do believe Phoenix has added a little bit to his bow this year under Holbrook, and I just think his robust nature as well helps. Like, you know, he's very, very durable. Gets through a bunch of work, can play multiple positions if he has to. So I reckon I'd probably go Phoenix, especially if Hughes is fit, Jerome Hughes, because you'll rely on the creativity to come from him, and the fullback will be KP. So Crossland KP combination as well, that helps.
I think that's the thing with Phoenix that's quite underrated is like he knows I think he's got a lot more creativity than what we see. I think he knows that there's been multiple guys that have the hot hand in that side and guys that need the footy in their hands, and therefore he only does what's needed.
Yep.
In that sense.
Yep.
So
If Jerome Hughes is the halfback, Dill Brown's now out. Who'd be their 6? Are we?
Could you put CNK there?
Yeah, Tomato Martin's another one that could play there.
Harris DeVita?
Harris
He's
DeVita.
Samoa. Sorry, he's Samoa.
Tomato Martin
yeah.
came off the bench last year. Did you experiment with like KP there and Keeney at
I
fullback.
don't want KP anywhere near the front line.
Yep.
I never want to see that again in my life. However, that doesn't mean they won't try from. I think Tomato Martin, because I actually think Tomato Martin's been pretty good this year.
Yep.
So probably him.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider CNK?
Yeah, they've done it before.
Like he's a strong body. I know defensively, he'd need some time to get used to the position.
I think if he ends up playing fullback and he plays out the year at fullback for the Wars, you could definitely consider it. But if they go back with Tuapiki,
I think they'll go back to Tuapiki. But anyway, we'll see. Who's
Isn't it crazy that the halfback last year is literally the Seagulls coach right now?
That is so fucking weird. That is so weird.
Wow.
That is so fucking weird. Who stood out for you for the Knights, mate?
The Knights, look, had a huge game playing at number 6. Fletcher Sharp for me. He can kind of play wherever they need him. He's proved it a few times through
He's
the
got
season.
spiders on him, eh?
He does. 2 tries, set a couple up, a few line break assists as well. Just a complete gun. So they've obviously been undermanned a little bit, hit hard with some injuries in some key positions. But I thought him and Sandon Smith combined quite well with each other. But him running at full flight, obviously they've got the whole unorthodox thing as well where KP jumps in at 7 for a bit too. But Fletcher Sharp, I thought, his eyes lit up on the weekend and, made him pay.
Mate, to do that without Dylan Lucas and Dylan Brown is just like, it's amazing. Like how far this night side has come to smash the Broncos at home. It's an amazing performance. And I just think that I've got an identity too. And ironically, KP is a fullback. He's almost the perfect fullback for Holbrook. Like if you had needed a guy that can have as much ball playing as possible coming out of his own end, like KP's the man. Like sometimes if your half is playing out of his own end, because his running game isn't as strong, it's not as scary. Every time, trust me, watching it live, every time KP got out the back, the Broncos were shitting themselves. They didn't know what to do. And sometimes he would pass, sometimes he wouldn't pass. And so especially when you're coming out of your own end, if your half is the guy that's going to spin it, you're essentially spinning it from the middle of the field. Whereas KP, he's coming at you in a tram line where there's more space as well. So he's genuinely like the perfect fullback for Holbrook's style of play. And I wonder how much Holbrook's sitting there going respectfully, this is actually what my vision was for the Titans. I just didn't have it. Just for some reason didn't have the quality to kind of make it happen. Francis Manu Leilua boys. I think we're looking at a real beast on the edge that, McEwen is ahead of him at the moment, but there's a world where if Francis gets more opportunity and Dylan Lucas is, let's say he's out for the rest of the year, I reckon they'll be battling for that outside spot because Francis is a beast. And I'm not saying McEwen isn't a beast, but I just think there's been a few signs here or there that Francis could be a special talent.
Well, and Chile, I remember in Vegas talking to some of them guys, and he was sort of the guy they pointed out and said, this is the one that could explode at any given moment. And you've seen that. He's been doing really well in Cup when he's played down there, can play on both edges. He's going to be a huge asset to this club over the next few years. The other 2 guys I just want to give a shout out to. The first one is Trey Mooney, going up against Payne Haas, Pat Carrigan. I thought he was fantastic in this game. And the other man, Cody Hopwood, got the ankle snapped last week by James Tedesco. Went up against Payne Haas, these sort of guys this week. He was great.
They won the battle.
Yeah, they won the battle well and truly. And I thought Hopwood as well, as a young guy coming in, going to Suncorp, playing against Payne Haas, I thought he was really good in this game.
Think about both Trey and Hopgood. Even though I know they're not that old. They're 3, I think Trey's 3 years younger. But they would have been watching Haas for the last 6 years going he's the man. He's the man. And so for them to have the mental toughness and the mental fortitude to not melt in the cauldron for one, but against a guy like Payne Haas, that says a lot. Because a lot of forwards, it's almost like the Mike Tyson effect. They go out against Haas and it's almost like, how do I beat this guy?
Yeah, especially when you run out there without Jacob Saifidi as well. Their main front row. And, this is what we spoke about in the preseason. I think most of us had, outside of him, had the Knights in our bottom 5 or 6.
He had them last.
Had them in the top 4. That's fine.
It's fake news. Go and check the tapes. Had them last.
Still going to be wrong.
Yeah.
I actually do have top 8. I don't know why. I just tried to mayo that. We're completely against me.
So you can't trust him. You can't trust him.
Just quickly, though, on them, do you think it's going to work in their favour that they actually spent a ton of time at the start of the year without Dill Brown, without KP? I know one of you mentioned before, I think they took it personally that everyone sort of put a line through them. Is there, obviously it goes without saying they're a better side with Dylan squared out there, but is it as much of a line through them as what you would have said otherwise? You know what I mean?
I didn't put a line through him.
No, I know, but
Why'd you put a line through?
What, like,
That's my
as far-
neutral take. That's my neutral take.
As far as like being able to win a comp though.
No, I haven't got him at winning a comp.
Okay.
Anyway, but in
So how
regards,
we going through?
it was a wait and see. It was a wait and see. But in regards to making the 8 or the top 4, like, no, I was still like, when you look at the fact that Francis has been great, McEwen's also been solid. I know he struggled a little bit. Then you also look at the fact that Sanders, Smith, and Fletcher Sharp, like, you know, they can do a job there. They can do a job. Like, there was a period there where before a ball was kicked that we felt Sanders should be the 7 and Brown should be the 6 and Fletcher Sharp should be either on a wing or in a centre. I still think that they can potentially push for the top 4. At the very least, they're locked into the 8 for me.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'd be shocked if they don't make the 8.
I just think that could really come in handy that at the start of the year they did get all those reps without those two guys.
Yep. You know, there's been a lot of talk and, you know, people drinking the Kool-Aid about like injuries and like that's why the Broncos struggled and all that kind of stuff. When you look at these starting forward packs, you got, you know, Patrick Carrigan versus Matty Croker, Jordan Ricky versus Francis Manu Leilua, Xavier Willison, I know he only spent 10 minutes on the field, versus Jermaine McEwen, Payne Haas versus Trey Mooney, Corey Pakes versus Crossland, and Va'a Semu versus Cody Hopwood. You know, you'd be forgiven for thinking that Broncos pack is going to roll through that Knights pack. And so this idea that the Broncos have just struggled because of injury is clearly nonsense. You know, they're the ones with a bunch of injuries at the moment. I know we're missing Jensen, and I know Xavier Willison went off. But look at the injuries. They don't have Cy Feedy, they don't have Dylan Lucas, and they don't have Dylan Brown either. And they just absolutely towed the Broncos up at home. So that idea, it's just not true. In regards to the Broncos, incredibly disappointing performance. You can tell they're not gelling. They're not playing as a team. It's a lot of one-out stuff. It's a lot of trying to solve things yourself. They look busted. They look like they're barely hanging on towards the end of the season. And I've got to be honest, like listening to the press conference, I was pretty disappointed, to be honest, in the press conference. Like I understand that Madge has a job to make sure there's the least amount of noise as possible after such a negative loss. We are sitting 16th right now. If you give everyone all their buys, blah, 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 all that for and against whatever, the Brisbane Broncos are sitting second last. This needs to be talked about more. This is unacceptable with the roster that is currently playing at the Broncos. And spare me with this whole, we've had all these injuries. We have plenty of games where we had the better side on paper and got beaten handedly. And just like some of these like throwaway lines, the boys are trying, things aren't going our way. We completed under 70%. What do you mean things aren't going our way? That has nothing to do with things not going your way. Can't fault how they try. Losing a couple of your players. What has that got to do with 65% completion rate? What do you think the Knights didn't lose a couple of players? A forward pass didn't go our way, then who knows what would happen? That was quoted from Madge. Mate, we lost 30
to
6. And we're talking about a pass. Who knows what could have happened if a pass had gone our way? Like, the concern I have is that now maybe he is just saying this to, as I said, to reduce the amount of headlines. But it seems like he doesn't know what the issue is. And this idea that, like, we just walked off the field in a game that was supposed to be for Corey Jensen after his retirement, got beaten 30-6 and completed at 65%, and he says the boys are trying? What do you reckon Bellyache's saying? Like, Bellyache was pissed off with how they went out, like a reserve grade side, genuine reserve, missing the whole spine. And Bellyache said, I was happy with the effort, but pissed off with the execution or whatever. We're sitting second last and we're talking about the boys are trying and like if things had gone our way. It's unacceptable. Like, what are we talking about here? This is unbelievable that we are accepting second last and we're talking about the boys are trying.
It's a good point that no one is talking about it.
What are we talking about
The
here?
defending premiers in second last. It's like, well, sorry again, Hammy, but like an absolute fucking tire fire.
And they actually have hectic things going on.
Tigers.
Yes.
They've got players walking out and they're above us on the table.
Yeah.
And no one's talking about it. It is insane that another press conference saying the boys are trying and they're working really hard. Okay, if you really believe that, then clearly what you're doing at training is not good enough and it needs to change.
Train harder.
But you don't believe that. You don't believe that. What is happening right now is you're giving us one thing and then I'm sure you're saying a totally different thing to the playing group. The fans deserve better than that. If a forward pass had gone our way after getting beaten 30-6 at home. The boys are trying after not a single mention of a 65% completion rate. Payne Haas has played, you know what, I'll get it up. So Corey, I'm pretty sure Paddy Carrigan, every game he's played this year has been 80 minutes. And I understand people are going to excuse and say, well, it's because Xavier Willison went off and it ruined our forward rotation or whatever. When you're looking at the whole season, it's a wonder these players are busted. And how are they, like, the season is over and we are still playing. So Haas in his 12 games this year for the Broncos has played 80 minutes 5 times and he's played 72-plus minutes 3 times. How is that the best thing for his career going forward? Then you got Paddy Carrigan, 8 of his 13 games have been 80-minute stints. Like, are we just going to run him into the ground?
To be fair, with Payne Haas, I assume that's exactly what they're doing, right?
Like,
Don't give a fuck.
How is that what's best? Like,
But you've been doing it for 3 years anyway.
but there was a period there where they backed off a little bit and actually were interchanging him correctly. Like,
That's because his back was like actually fucked.
yeah, I cannot believe that after a loss like that, we're walking out saying the boys tried hard and, you know, I see what they're doing at training or whatever. Like, look, I'm still a believer in Madge for sure. I still think a few tweaks, a few changes here or there. But I unfortunately, that press conference, I was really disappointed with that press conference. Had an opportunity to publicly put the boys on notice, publicly talk about the fact that we completed a 65% completion rate. Like, you know, 10 in the bin, Reece, you know, for just a brain explosion. Some of these other decisions, like, really disappointing. Really
Is this
disappointing.
like based on the Michael Maguire we've got to know over the last 10 years, like, it seems like a very unusual approach for him to take. The way, like, he's obviously just got a bit of a different squad here, and he's trying to work out how to manage it and how to. But it just seems very un-Michael Maguire to me.
Honestly, if I'm being fair dinkum, and like I say this respectfully, but it seems to me that he's already struggling with having the playing group on side, and he's worried about saying something
It's going to lose him.
that's going to completely cut, gone.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that ship has sailed.
But it's also unbelievable that you can be in that position after you won a comp 9 months ago.
The concern I have is this. You look at the minutes of Paddy Carrigan, you look at the minutes of Haas, the worry I have is, like, if this continues like this, how many players do we lose? And I know as a Broncos fans, you might be sitting there going, good, they should go. All right, go and find that talent elsewhere. We will be if we lose any more of these players that are guns, we will be scrounging for talent moving forward. So, yeah, I think I really, really hope that there are some tweaks made in regards to how everything is run. Even like some of the recruitment hasn't been great. We lost assistant coaches. We've lost Haas. There has been a lot that's gone wrong this year, and I think there needs to be a lot more chat about the fact that we're sitting second last. I praised. I can't speak for anyone else. I'm speaking for myself. And also this panel, we gave Madge all the praise when he won the comp. We didn't speak about any other coaches doing anything. That was his comp that he won, and good on him. He also needs to be held accountable for coming 16th with a squad like that. And that's the only... You can't sit there and say how great Madge is winning the comp, but then not also critique the fact that we're finishing 16th at the moment in the... Like, it's just... Yeah, it's extremely disappointing.
Oh, the Dragons might go on a bit of a tear, mate. You might be moving a bit low.
Come on, mate. Tigers are the worst.
No.
But it also is like optically, it's very lucky the Dragons have been the Dragons have been in close games.
The Dragons have been playing better footy than us.
Without a doubt, yeah.
One of
beat
their
us.
wins was against you.
Their first win was against us with a gun roster.
But like, had they wrestled another 3 wins this season, it'd be tight.
Honestly, as I said, like, I'm just so disappointed that after a loss like that, we're talking about things going our way and trying hard, and like, it's been such a disappointing season. And I think changes need to be made. As I said, still back at Madge as a coach. I still believe in him, but he needs to make some changes in my opinion.
One change I'd be making as soon as possible, and I understand he's coming back from injury, so maybe that's playing into it, but Billy Walters needs to play way more. I thought...
You know what I don't get with that, bro? So on one area where we're running Payne Haas into playing 80 minutes, Paddy Carrigan playing 80 minutes, but then we're being super conservative with Billy Walters.
Like, the one period of the game that I would have actually argued that you won was once he came onto the field, like what he was actually offering around the ruck. Like, you need so much more of that. Like, even the guys that you're talking about who are working their dicks off, their runs seemed more effective because they were getting in better spots and they were just finding their front a little bit easier. And like, it seemed crazy to me that Like he must be on limited minutes. Like that must be a return to play.
It's the only thing. But the thing is, he's been playing for 5 weeks now, I think.
That's what I mean, though. Like fuck.
So that's what I'm not getting. Surely he can play more than 10 minutes. So what did he end up playing? How many minutes?
It says he played half an hour. It felt like fucking 5 minutes.
Well, but surely if he can play half an hour, surely he can play longer than that.
You need more than that out of him. Like he needs to be playing more than Corey Pace. So I would understand if they were like, we want Corey to play the first 20 or whatever. Like your attack looks so much better when Billy was on the field.
But get Corey Pace the first 20, get Billy Walters the second 20, have a halftime break, see how he's traveling. Maybe Corey Pace starts for 5 minutes or whatever, and then you bring the fact. Look, there's just so many different things that I just don't understand. I can't.
That's a big one though. That needs to change sooner rather than later. Even though the season's
what's crazy
done,
is Billy Walters not even signed for next year at the moment,
which is wild.
we need him. He should
badly.
be signed yesterday at the club. I do think that now that we can't make, we're definitely out. I do think that we need to make some tough calls in regards to minutes. I think Ben Hunt should be getting less minutes. I think we need to try and give guys like Moser, Duffy some minutes. Now, I do think that Adam Reynolds and Payne Haas have earned the right and respect to be sent out correctly and not being benched for longer minutes. Now, granted, I don't want Payne Haas playing 80 minutes every week. It's outrageous. I do think Reynolds has earned the right to go out and start when he's available. Now, he's going to miss next week. But if he's available and says he can play, I understand right now there are frustrations in regards to Reynolds' form. We have to remember, guys, he took us from a spoon, a laughing stock of the competition, to 2 grand finals and 1 premiership. He's earned these last 5 games regardless of how he plays. But I do think there are other areas that we could be giving guys more minutes. Like, for example, let's reduce Paddy's minutes. Like, Paddy looks so fatigued and busted, it's insane. Haas running for 111 metres or whatever, he's clearly gassed. He's clearly done. He's played so much, yeah, disappointing. We should at least pick up 1 win over the next few weeks, and Dragons aren't going to win every single game. So we're not going to win the spoon. We're probably going to finish second last. We need to make some calls. And also, we need to recruit better. We need to get... Look, Mitch Barnett is a great recruitment, but he landed in a lap. We got lucky there. Gagai, he's a bit older. I like his experience, but we need to land a big fish here. The Peasant one, at the moment, it's not looking great. We're basically... Our big signing is currently sitting in reserve grade at the Eels, who just were part of one of the worst slingers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Now, I hope it works out. Obviously, I want it to work out with Peasant, but I'm just saying, it's not looking great. In regards to, not Peasant specifically, in regards to recruitment as a whole.
Yeah. No, it's a shit fight. Is it, do you think Madge will attend Mad Monday?
It'll be a training. And I expect the rest of the squad to be there too.
Doing video sessions.
Yeah. They don't do Mad Monday, they do Madge Monday. Monday. First day press.
Just Tave and Malcolm's.
I do hope there's some tweaks from Madge. As I said, I back him in. Absolutely. He's the guy moving forward, but some tweaks absolutely need to be made. And I do think that the fans deserve a little bit better in the press conferences.
And for what it's worth, can be obviously Peasant wasn't actually part of that slinger. You know what I mean? He didn't.
Yeah, it's true. He would have actually
made the side. He could have really turned those.
It's not a knock on Peasant. Look, his season hasn't been great, Peasant. I'm not going to pretend it hasn't.
No.
And I hope he kills it. But if he's our biggest signing as the guy that's going to lead this club for the next 10 years, it is concerning that he's sitting in reserve grade.
Absolutely it is.
I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it's just an Eels thing. But we'll see. Alrighty, time for Sharks defeating the Rabbitohs 32-16. Got to say, I love this performance from the Sharkies because they started and it looked like the Rabbitohs might have, their tail up. And the Sharks they almost just went into autopilot. Just said, okay, let's bring it all back, play some conservative footy, just get into the grind. And the Rabbitohs, unfortunately, they just couldn't. They just don't have those reps in. They don't have those, it's almost like subconscious to them. Whereas Sharks, it's almost subconscious to them. They know what to do now to just get back into the grind, settle into a game of rugby league. And then AFB comes off the bench, Hazelton comes off the bench, momentum shifted, and the game was basically over from there. There's a little bit of a fight back from the Rabbitohs. I love this performance from the Sharkies. I do think that there'll probably be a game here or there where they're a bit flat, but at the moment, I think they're just playing such good rugby league.
Yep, completely agree. I remember we spoke about 3 weeks ago, and you two are pretty confident. I wanted to see more of AFB off the bench. It's working.
You want to know a spanner on the
great.
works? So Fitzy was asked about that, and he was like, at the moment, for internal reasons like preparation-wise, that's why he's come off the bench, but he is a starting front rower, and so basically saying that that's not going to stay like that.
Well, he's carrying a pec strain. a low grade pec strain, and that's what I think prompted it.
Which is crazy. I love it.
Surely don't fucking change it.
But Fitzy, unless he's doing a bait and switch, but he was basically saying like he is an out and out, he's a starter. He belongs starting, and that's essentially where he does his best work.
It's working so well though.
I'm with you, and that's what the journo was alluding to. But he's like, no, it's for preparation reasons.
Oh God, please don't change it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely think it's you're treating AFB almost like a bit of a Ferrari in the sense that the all the shitty stuff's out of the way now. Go in there and fucking just do your thing, bro. I love it.
Yeah, sure they don't change it. Like I know the halves have really found their groove the last few weeks, but it's not a coincidence that you change that. Like the guy that you'd be swapping him out for is like, he's not going to have the same impact off the bench as what AFB will, but he's been doing a job for the first 20. You know what I mean? Like whoever it was that you're going to take away, or whether it's Oregon or Hazelton when he comes back in. Like, yeah, I hope they keep it that way.
Yeah,
That really surprises me.
mate, it blew my mind when you said it.
Surely he's just trying to back him in and show like how much we value him, sort of thing. Because like you spoke about it earlier on in the show, Kempy, but that sort of optics of like the bench. And even though most people that watch the
maybe
game,
AFB doesn't want to be seen as a bench player potentially,
or just trying to talk him up still, like because I think a lot of players, even though most people that watch the game understand how it works now in terms of what the vibe is around the bench, I think there's probably an aspect of it where clubs might still try and devalue you if you're on the bench. I don't know, but yeah, fuck, I hope that'll change.
But even then, like you come out, you say it to the media, and then if you keep picking him on the bench, I think just better off expressing how important he is to this side, that he comes on at an important part of the game. And
maybe AFB wants to be a starter and he's just managing that kind of relationship potentially. In
interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I can't make sense of it because I actually think it's changed their whole vibe.
Yes. Yep.
Definitely has.
Because at the moment, before he came on, they were just hanging in the contest. When he came on, it changed. Anyway, what about Nico Hines? I could not be more happy. So he breaks the club record. Is it 32 straight conversions? But what's crazy is like that's not even the best bit about his footy at the moment.
Yeah.
He is playing. I'd argue he's playing as good, if not better, than his Dally M year right now.
Like over the last month or so.
Yes, over the last
I think
few
that's
weeks.
fair. Yeah.
He is
I'd
playing,
say as good, yeah.
He is playing that good. He is so well-rounded. In his Dally M year, his defence was still a concern. His defence recently has been outstanding. I think you know what? I think he's in career best form. I think when you consider everything, when you consider the pressure he has to play with, when you consider he's a leader of the side and how well-rounded he is, I think he's playing career best form right now.
I think that's a fair shout from the point of view of in year one when he was playing halfback, everyone was still working him out. They've got 4 years of tape on him now.
They all know what he's going to do.
You've seen what the weaknesses are in the years since the Dally M medal, and he's still playing great footy. So, yeah, I can say that.
Mate, he's been so good. Trindle as well, been great. They're a super exciting team to watch, Tommy.
Yeah, I think that was like the biggest thing on the weekend. Like last few weeks, we've sort of seen them both have the hot hand the whole time in certain aspects. Whereas I think this game was the first time where like there was a big chunk of this game where like Trindle set up a couple of tries. Like he sort of had the hot hand. You sort of saw Hines just play his role, and then he sort of took over at the back end and was more on ball, had a couple of line breaks himself. Like the dynamic and the balance of power just seems the best that it's ever been.
And you got to give Fitzy credit for that because I reckon a lot of coaches would have pulled the trigger and said, okay, Hines, you're 6, you're 7. That's the roles.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also is interesting. I think Will Kennedy all of a sudden isn't the talking point anymore. I think now that we're seeing a team where the halves have found that dynamic and they're starting to fly, I think they do have the spine to win a comp. I think they're all just playing to the best of their ability.
Mate, I tell you what, if you're Kennedy's manager, surely you're sitting there going, guys, there are players out there on way more than Will Kennedy, and look what the value we're getting out of him because Kennedy's been phenomenal too. That whole spine, like Brayley, outstanding. The whole spine, I mean, you could argue in regards to like well-oiled, they're the form spine of the comp, the way they move together and play together.
Yeah, as far as their form at the moment. Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, over the last month or so.
When would have you said that about the Sharkies?
Yeah. They've had moments, but not like this.
I've never ever, not ever, in the last 3 or 4 years, I've never looked at the Sharks spine and said that they are the form spine of the comp. Not even close, to be honest. Not even close. Like they would be maybe top 4 at best. That's how good they're playing at the moment. What do you think of the Sharkies, mate?
I would agree. Last month, they would be the form spine of the competition. But, yeah, they've got a lot of weapons as well in their forward pack. Guys that have come out of the ground this year. Colhoun, we've spoken about a lot through the season. He was good again on the weekend. Having him back in there can play a few roles for you, but in the middle at the moment, doing some great stuff. And I'm with you. I'm enjoying AFB off the bench. I think since Origin, since they lost to the Chooks and they had the bye, that's how they've kind of used him. They haven't lost since then. So the proof's been in the pudding a little bit there with how they're kind of rolling him through at the moment. But yeah, they're probably playing the most exciting brand of footy of anyone in the comp at the moment. Their run home's very good. They don't play another team in the top 8 for the rest of the year. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Like, you'd imagine they'll continue winning, but maybe a little test there ahead of the finals would be good for them. But they could finish as high as top 2 if they keep playing the way that they're going. They're probably the form team at the moment of the comp.
I think I'd argue Jesse Colquhoun has almost like changed their season in regards to that last piece of the puzzle that they were missing in the middle there, because he's playing so well that I don't think they do this, but like it would genuinely be a tough question of whether you start him at 13 or Colquhoun at 13 if you are going to start AFB, because I just think Colquhoun's too good to be sitting on the bench in the style that he plays. Like, can he bring the same impact as AFB as you were saying? I don't think he can, but at the same time, if he's going to start, you've got to try and find a starting spot for him somewhere, and that would probably be at the 13 role. But are you going to leave a leader off the field like Cam McInnes? He's one of their leaders, I guess.
I mean, they have also given a nod to the future that that's what they want to do. So
I will see.
he
but
did the job in finals last year.
Mate, I just think he's been like the missing piece of the puzzle for them. Colquhoun's been outstanding. And the good thing is he can play in the front row all 13 and also outstanding on an edge. So super versatile. Has he re-signed? Can you check how long he's re-signed for?
So it'll be exciting with the Sharkies. Like, if they can win their next
2030.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's good. They would have gone for
Okay.
unders too.
Yep.
That was before his form one. Far out. Great
If
signing.
the Sharkies can, I think they've won 5 in a row now. I think they could win another 5 in a row. You could get to the last round of the season, and I think they play Melbourne at Shark Park last game of the week. That afternoon is also the 10-year reunion of the 2016 Premiership winning side out there.
Far out.
Vibes will be high as fuck out there.
Would you rest? If you've won 10 in a row, would you rest in that last round?
I don't know.
Who are you resting though? Like that's where
Just main players.
if they're injured. So like say with AFB, like whether that's playing in the bench or not, I doubt that it is anymore, regardless of what he said. If someone's carrying something, then I reckon you rest them. But if not, like they're humming. Like
Yeah, I mean, they might have a home final locked up for the next week. They might not be able to win the minor premiership. So
That's what I mean. Like, there's a chance you look at it, some key players where you just go, you know what, have a week off.
still, though, I always think it'll be good. Like, I imagine that week there'll be festivities and stuff. They'll have the 2016 side around there. Like, it'll be a good little lift for them going into finals.
yeah, for sure.
So I love what the Sharkies are doing. Super exciting. Any other standouts for you boys before we move on?
Nah.
No. Rabbitohs. We won't spend long on Rabbitohs, but to be honest, like they have had these issues for a long time. When they get into games, they can start well, but if they find any opposition that's willing to grind and get into the back and forth flow of footy and complete high, unfortunately, the Rabbitohs just can't go with them.
Sorry, just quickly before we move off Cronulla, Teague Wilton had 3 charges yesterday, $6,600 in fines.
Dollary dues.
What's Sunday Arvo?
Damn it. It's
Expensive Sunday.
expensive Sunday.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, South Sydney, look, they're getting a lot of troops back this week. Ewan Aiken also pulled out late of this one there. Man, I keep feeling I watch South Sydney and they look so ordinary, and every week I go to the ladder and think this is the week they'll fall. They never seem to.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, for the level that they've played at this year, they should be outside the 8.
Yep.
And almost like getting to the point of we need to win most games to stay in it. Look, I'll reserve harsh judgment until next week, but honestly, I do think there are standards that have just not been reached this year with the Rabbitohs. They just will. They really, if you can complete high against them, they will struggle against you. You'll see the Rabbitohs struggle.
Yeah.
I mean-
Well, I just think like they actually started quite well. I thought they scrambled well early, and obviously off the back of that stretch line break and that Dufty ball, like they looked all right. I just think they failed to capitalise during the sin bin. Like that, not only did they not score points during the sin binning, but they also just actually lost the majority of field position during
Mate,
that
to
time.
lose 32-16 after to a team that lost a bloke for 10 is pretty damning.
And I think like they did have opportunities. Like I think they ended up with like 2 good ball sets throughout that 10-minute period. But for the most part, they were inside their own half, which, you know, while Wilton was in the sin bin, like that's just, yeah. probably where they lost the game for me. Like, but once the Sharks weathered that storm and that initial sort of fight from the Rabbitohs, as you were sort of saying, like they were able to just go set for set with them. And South just don't seem to have when it was their best available side, it seemed like they didn't have the fitness to go with them. You take those strike guys out and all the guys they're missing, and you're asking these younger guys to go with a quality side. Like, it's just never going to be able to happen. So, yeah.
Got tough decisions to make as well. Like, Jai Gray, does he come back at fullback? Like, yeah. So I think it's going to be another what-if year for the Rabbitohs, but we'll see. I'll reserve harsh judgment till next week. We'll know where they're at. I think that they've picked up poor habits this year that doesn't matter how many good players they've got in the side, they may not be able to overcome. If there is a team with absolute stars that can almost Band-Aid over those cracks, it is the guy like the Rabbitohs with the stars coming back. But yeah. Okay, on to the next game. Eels versus defeat the West Tigers 16-13. Before I say anything, I'll just go straight to you, mate, and give me your thoughts on the game.
Oh, yeah, pretty scrappy. Borderline unwatchable game for a lot of it.
Borderline's generous.
Yeah, a lot of noise coming into this game. Obviously, Adam Dewey back in the team after sitting a week out, so there's a lot of kind of eyes and pressure on him. You mentioned it before, probably pretty quiet for the first big chunk of the game. Came home with a wet sail, nearly got the job done. Towards the end of the game, obviously had the field goal, scored a try, all that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, probably a few moments that we had a lot of ball at various times and maybe just lacked a little bit of the last touch or the last pass. There was one that went over the sideline, one that went behind to Ruva. And then you have a look at New South Wales Cup where the Tigers had a big win. Javon Andrews had a hand in 7 of the 9 tries that he scored.
That's so good to hear. That's so good to hear. Good on the young fella.
Good on him for bouncing back, but maybe a little bit of that class could have been handy, in the final third for us. I know he had a tough week 1, but yeah, I mean, apart from Fanua Pole, that was a great shift from him to get that try. Ran 25 metres, crashed over under the posts. Wasn't a lot doing in terms of kind of attacking footy. So, yeah, a little bit of a grind. And the Eels weren't great either. 19 errors, 67% completion rate. If we kind of got given every opportunity to win that game, but weren't able to do it.
Man, I got to say, I think Benji has unfortunately got himself in a bit of a pretzel now because he sat in the press conference and almost said he felt like they were playing footy that they would play it early in the year. The tough thing is that I personally believe, and this is just my opinion, the Tigers' spine proved his point that Dewey should have probably been 13 and that Javon Andrews probably should have been 7. But unfortunately, now that he has backed Dewey all the way in as 7, he can't go back to that now. He can't vindicate himself he has to back Dewey all the way in and say, yep, he's our man or whatever. But there's a reason why that decision was made is because the attack was terrible for 4 or 5 weeks. The amount of opportunities that Luai and Dewey had in that game was honestly like astounding, and they still couldn't ice them. Unfortunately, I think Benji has made some really wrong calls. The Makasini thing, I think Makasini's first year has been handled poorly. I got no issue with giving Makasini his debut and starting him at the start of the year. But when it became clear that it just wasn't really working out for him, I think that he should have been put back in the New South Wales Cup, kept in a single position, not moved different positions, and given an opportunity to learn his trade. He comes in, and unfortunately, that last play, he jams in. But what do you expect a guy that, he's wing, he's centre, he's back in the New South Wales Cup, he's back in. I think he's in a bit of a pressure now, Benji, whereas he could have made a strong stance, stuck by it. I don't know where he goes from here, Benj. I really don't. I don't know where he goes. Brew?
He needs an experienced head as a GM of football or something there, because at the moment it's a day-to-day, almost a guessing job there of what we should do and how we should react to things.
But what's bizarre is I feel like the game on the weekend proved that Dewey at 13 and then Javon and Luai would be a good way to shake their attack up and help them score points.
Yeah, sure. And that's one issue. The bigger issue is they've got no idea what they're doing over there. It is all over the place. Let's be honest here. It is a shit show from the lack of communication last week to they need more leadership there. They have hired outside of Kieran Foran, essentially the least experienced coach in the history of the game. And what the head of football there is Pat Richards. Like they need to go out and get an experienced head to actually help him make these tough decisions and try and guide this club in the right
feel
direction.
like, to further your point, I feel like an experienced head would have said, Benji, back yourself in here. With Dewey leaving because of the 13 role or whatever, you got an opportunity to have a real strong stance here and back yourself in
100%.
and believe in yourself that what you were seeing was correct. But he didn't. He second-guessed himself.
Yep.
And now he is in an absolute pretzel as to how he moves forward.
Yeah, and you look at you have a look at the people around him. He's got Brett Hodgson, Chris Hollington, Pat Richards. All due respect to those guys, they're all guys that he played with. He won the comp with. And then you've got the experienced guy they did get for him years ago was Tim Sheens. I'm sorry, that version of Tim Sheens was not the version that should have been running a football club. That's the reality of it. I love Benji. I think he could be a successful coach in our game, but I think the Tigers have done nothing to help him at all.
They are in such a
I think
tough
they've
spot.
set him up for disaster to some extent.
And so what do you do now? So, for example, you lost the unlosable game. Like, Eels were so poor. Javon Andrew goes back and fucking rips. What do you do?
You can't do anything.
That's what I mean.
You pick
You're
the
fucked.
same fucking team next week
You are
because no one can get upset over there.
Thankfully, we've got the bye, so delay it
Should
for
get that one done then. I think it's fucking absurd when you actually look at the Tigers at that purple patch at the start of the year. The most surprising aspect of it to me, pleasantly surprising, was the way they were using Alex Twal as a ball player and that development and what that did for their halves and the rest of their attack. Really weird moment when Adam Dewey scores a try, first receiver, off the ruck, through the middle of the field, fucking runs over 4 guys and scores a try and gets up as if I told you so. It's like, you just scored at 13.
Yeah.
You just scored a try taking a hit up. And you spoke about those moments earlier in the game where there was a couple of them where that last pass to Taruva didn't hit. 100% it proved Benji's point. 100%. And that's why, what happened and everyone's had their take on it. The way he got up after that try, I was like, it was so clearly, obvious that you should have played 13. All your strengths that make you, if you wanted to argue what makes Adam Dewey a good half, he's better at 13 because of those things. It was just it's such a shame that Benji didn't back himself in.
Yep. I don't know what you do now.
I haven't spoken to any of you since last week, but I can't believe he played halfback last week. I cannot believe. Even he came out and said I should have played. Is there no? I don't know if the word's punishment, but there has to be consequences for your actions.
Yeah.
At the moment, there is none because they're scared of upsetting people.
It's bizarre.
The one silver lining, though, as you said, Kempy, is that Andrews went back and ripped up.
It shows you a good young kid that is the biggest victim of all of this. He hasn't allowed it to get to him. He's gone back and done all the right things. Unfortunately for him, though, he's in a tough spot now because is he going to get another crack this year? Do you drop Luai and that's the way you get him in?
That looks even more fucked if they do that.
Is he signed long term, Andrews? Is he locked in?
Honestly, and I spoke about this last week, and I'm sorry to be too harsh, but if I was his old man and my son was treated like that, I wouldn't be having him at the
End
club.
of 28. We got into him.
He'd be gone.
Mate, if I tripped over someone in the street and he was their son, you'd say, this has been the same for 20 years now. It's not changing.
And he had an opportunity to be firm.
He had an opportunity to draw a line in the sand to some extent and try something, and they flipped back on it straight away.
Especially when you said, here's the door.
Here's the door,
It's the most, here's the door moment. That's not a hot take. It's 99% of people, if you're hey, we asked you to do this, you didn't put the team before yourself, see you later, pretty fair stance.
Or at the
regardless of
very
who it is.
least, mate, we know you love the club. I know, me and you, we know. We speak, we trust each other, everything. Show your love by the club by going back to reserve grade. Show everyone how much you said you'll play anywhere for the club. Just play a couple games in reserve grade. Give John Andrews an opportunity. Because although Benji was right in the fact that Andrews could have sparked their attack, I still didn't like the fact that it was a do or die game down in Canberra that you're debuting this kid. But
Do we die?
do we or die? Now I forgot my train of thought. Oh, fuck. Anyway, yeah.
You didn't like it was in Canberra as a do or die game.
Yeah, but now it's been proven right. You had an opportunity to keep him in the side and allow him to build a bit of momentum. That is Javon Andrews.
Yeah.
But now he's got no momentum to build towards next year unless You drop Luai, but now that looks bad because you're saying we're going to reward this guy who literally refused to play. We're going to punish Luai because he signed with another club in 2028. And what's weird is that, like, I would understand if you didn't drop Dewey and, like, let's say Dewey stayed and he played or whatever, I could understand them saying, Luai, we're not going to play you, mate, because we're building towards next year. But because of the optics of it all, it just is a disaster.
But, like, even the way, it's well documented, I'm not a Tigers fan, so, Hammy, I'd love to know what you think about this. But, fuck, like, even the way the narrative in that press conference wasn't, I should and I will play anywhere for the team. It was like, Benji knows that I'd play anywhere. It's like, we all know that you wouldn't. That's exactly what this issue is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're doing here at this press conference because you didn't.
And the frustrating thing for me is, like, they've tried to sugarcoat it of like, it's about standards at the club. Hang on a sec. So it's just a coincidence that when you get told you're playing a position you don't want to play, now all of a sudden the standards mean something. All the other weeks where the standards have been poor and you've been 7, it's been fine. I just don't buy it. But they did fight. I'll give them that. They did fight. It was a diabolical game. They were there in their up to their eyeballs in it towards the end there. It was a good drop goal. He did have a good period in the last 10 minutes, Dewey, which was good, but I feel like he could kind of do that from 13 anyway, but it is what it is. So look, I don't know what to say, to be honest with the Tigers.
I think, like, moving forward, and this will be hard to do now with the dynamic that they've created, but you guys definitely look at your best when Appy jumps out, when you play using your middles.
But even Appy was taking hit-ups on the line. What was that?
On the line was crazy. But
Finu in at dummy half.
Yeah,
that was the wrong
The
way
goal
around.
line attack wasn't great, but even earlier in the game, sort of not in good ball, but sort of around the 20 a couple of times where Appy jumped out and sort of he was on the ball playing, looks great. Like
silly shoulder charge. My God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But May, Twal, those guys, that's and like, even Fanua Bolle, like that's where the strength obviously is. So I think they just need to lean into that more.
Do you get through this 2-week bye period unscathed?
Probably not.
It's hard to imagine, right?
Yeah.
What do you think could happen?
Literally
Mate,
anything.
Absolutely anything.
Disaster. Now just
Go Tigers.
let's get to the Eels. We won't spend too long on the Eels because, like, I got to say, they were really, really poor, and they were actually really disappointing. They ended up winning, which is good, and this is the fight that they even though everything was not going well for them, and there's so many areas that they can improve on in this game specifically, they did fight till the end. Mitch Moses comes in clutch, but like, for example, that Bolle try, like Talon De Silva, maybe they're leaving him on too long, but that attempt at tackle was like, it's just not NRL level. He's so talented. Talon De Silva. That's why it frustrates the hell out of me because I'm like, mate, there is a high-quality 9 right there. And then also, him and Iongi, Bolle made a similar run around the middle, and they just stood there whilst the tackle wasn't complete. Like, you're on your own line. Surely you get involved in the tackle to slow it down so that you get a slow play the ball. And because they didn't get in the contact, Bolle offloads, and then Dewey comes screaming through the middle. So look, I don't think Riles would have been happy at all. But look, a win's a win. They've had a lot of injuries. It is what it is. But that was a super disappointing performance, in my opinion.
Incredibly disappointing. It's actually like how a team manages to win with 19 errors and 48 missed tackles. It's borderline impressive.
Like, I cannot
Like, to
believe
get
it.
that done in 80 minutes is a good knock. To win is wild.
Somehow, some way. Like, but yeah, I don't know what. I thought Sam Rani had some really good moments. I
He
love him
did
as a
have
player.
some really good moments.
He was
Hamani,
the shining light in the situation. I think that he's been a real shining, like a star for them this year in regards to just finding this. Not finding. I know he played a little bit there last year, but he's cemented that position.
Yeah.
He's a real go-to in a crossfield kick. He's strong in contact. He's usually pretty good in defence. So for me personally, he was the guy that I looked to and said had a good game.
I'll tell you, the moment that summed up this game for me was when Volkman scooped up the loose ball, passed to Josh Addo-Carr with open pass in front of him and just dropped it goal.
And
That's what everyone in their lounge room did across the country.
Oh,
Just went,
God.
"Fuck, call it."
And then earlier in the game, Addo-Carr does this incredible overs line, runs around the Tigers' defence, then ends up just tough. So
Tough afternoon for rugby league.
tough afternoon for everyone. But they got the job
Particularly
done.
the Tigers.
Oh, mate, seriously. I'll just check. Where are they sitting on the ladder at the moment?
When you consider our bye,
No, sorry, the Eels.
we're sitting 2 spots above the Broncos.
Eels are 13th. Look, if Eels can fight hard and finish 12th or whatever, that's a good season for me, comparatively speaking to where they could have ended up this year.
Well, they've had some good performances sprinkled in there, and you got Jerome coming next year. I think it's more than a fair argument that they're in a better spot than they were at the start of the year, especially after they got absolutely pounded round one by the Storm. I thought it was going to be a long year.
Mate, what about the Storm at the start of the year? We're just like, wow.
Yeah, but that also plays into that. The rules were so different then.
Yeah.
That it was just that high octane footy. It could work.
Yeah.
And if the rules are going to be the same as they were in the first 5 rounds, Suafalango might be worth $2 million a season.
Yes, absolutely. He was, and like some other people like Katonga, just some silly errors. He got away with one where they called it a Tigers knock on. To be honest, it's not like Tuivasa. He had a couple of errors that an error that he'd want back. Mose had some errors. Fox had some errors. So yeah, a win to win. That's if there is ever an example of like just fucking walk away from it and just be happy you won it. This is that game. Okay, let's face it with his music brought to you.
It's like walking away from a car accident with a scratch. You're like, okay.
Just burn the Steedens and just start again. Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, time for Face the Music, proudly brought to you by our friends over at Sportsbet.
All right, round 23. We'll get straight into it. The Gold Coast Titans, $2.40 host the Cowboys, $1.58. 3.5 points is the line at the Gold Coast on Thursday.
Ooh, I'm going to go Titans head-to-head.
Yep, $2.40.
I'm going to lean into the Cowboys being the Cowboys and go North Queensland 13+.
Cowboys 13+, $2.95.
North Queensland 1-12.
$2.90. Matty's going to go Cowboys 1-12 for $2.90. I'm going to take the Titans head-to-head, $2.40. Warriors, $2.55 host the Panthers, $1.51. 5.5 points is the line over there in New Zealand.
I'm going to go Panthers 1-12.
$2.80.
Panthers -5.5.
Yep.
Oh, shit. Maybe. Okay, no, I'll go 1-12. Fuck it.
Wires head-to-head.
Yep, $2.55. Matty's going to go the Panthers -5.5. I will also take Panthers -5.5. The Roosters, $1.36, host the Dogs. Bit of value here, $3.18. 8.5 points is the line.
Ooh. 3.18 and 8.5 on the line. That's interesting. Okay. I will go. Jesus, tough one. I'll go Roosters 1-12.
$2.95.
Dogs with the 8.5.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll get heaps cute. Go Roosters 1-12.
$2.95. Matty's going to go the Chooks -8.5. This is tough. I will go with the Roosters to cover the 8.5 as well. Humming at the moment. Storm, $2.46. Host Manly, $1.55. You don't see that often. 4.5 points is the line on Saturday.
I'll go Manly with a -4.5.
Yep, same.
Manly 1-12.
$3. Matty's gone Manly head-to-head, $1.55. I will go Manly -4.5 as well. Dolphins, $1.44, host the Broncos, $2.82. 7.5 points is the line on Saturday, Arvo.
Broncos 13+.
$7.
Finn 13+.
Yep, $2.45.
Broncos 1-12.
$3.80. Matty's gone Dolphins 13+. I'll do the same, $2.45. South Sydney, $1.43, host the Eels, $2.86. 6.5 points is the line.
I'm going to go Eels head-to-head.
$2.86.
Oh, sorry. So the boys are all back. Apologies. Sorry? Sepp Latrell. I'll go Rabbitohs 1-12.
Yep, $2.80.
Bunny's line.
Yep.
Rabbitohs 13+.
$2.50. Matty's gone South 1-12 for $2.80. I will go South 1-12 for $2.80 as well. Raiders, $1.65, host the Knights, $2.25. 2.5 points is the line.
Golden Point.
Ooh.
Come on, mate.
Sucked in. Don't copy your fucking dog.
Come on, mate.
You're a fucking dog,
Stop
mate.
copying me.
Which game are we at? Dragon Sharks?
Nah,
No.
Raiders, Knights.
I will go Knights 1-12.
$3.45.
Knights 13+.
$4.90. Matty's gone Knights 13+, $4.90 as well. There's a tough one down there. I'm going to go Knights head-to-head, $2.25. To bring us home, the Dragons, $4.75 host the Sharks, $1.19. 15.5 is
Dragons
the
13+.
line. $14.
Coming back, boys. This is the week. It all starts.
Dragons 1-12.
580.
Wow. I'll go just Sharks line.
Sharkies to cover the 15.5.
Cover 15 and a
Yeah,
half.
I was going to go Sharks head to head, but then I was
That's
like,
a yuck. That is a yuck.
Matty is going to go Dragons plus 15.5. I'll take the Dragons head to head, 475.
bet. Okay. That's us done and dust. Give the boys a follow. As usual, we'll go and fuck ourselves. Thank you.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.